do the usual pre-show stuff, I guess would be the way to say it. There we are. And so, hope everybody is doing fantastic on this happy St. Patrick's Day to each and every one of you. And of course, you'll be wearing the green. If you're not, I'm going to try to pinch you. Well, it's a little hard with this screen in front of me.
I was gonna say my eyes are green, so
Okay, well then you're fine,
free
Matt.
pass
Robert's
forever.
fine. I see people wearing the green, so we're good.
I'm
All
about
right.
to go on with video and I have green, so don't pinch me because I have a red shirt on my image.
All right. Well, I'll consider that when the pot of gold gets distributed to everybody. And nothing personal to Santa Corky. He's a little later on in the year, so but he is wearing a little bit of green, it looks like. All
Yeah.
right. So we're all covered then. Welcome, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on our second edition of Imaginators. And I'm just so glad to have each and every one of you with us. If you're watching us on YouTube and you want to join us on Zoom, look for at the top of the chat that little blue bar there, or green bar, or whatever color that it is. It says Unlimited Wisdom Zoom link. Click on that and you can join us here in the Zoom, because it is here in the Zoom where we do a lot of interaction. That's not to say that you can't ask any questions in the YouTube chat if you'd like, and then we will ask on your behalf. But of course, you can do that here also in Zoom. Oh, I forgot to introduce one other person. This little guy right here on my shoulder. There he is. Let's see if I can get a little closer. That's Chip on my shoulder.
Why did you call him Chirp?
Because then he would be a chirp skate, right?
Oh my
I did
God.
that at Disneyland, and it's you're not supposed to go against what the normal dress code is, but when they saw what I was doing with it, they said, "Okay, fine." So got a good laugh. I say that because I was on the Jungle Cruise at that time, and of course, the dad joke ride. So,
Yes, yes.
anyways, let's get things rolling. Just a couple of quickie announcements. I know that we've got some things to share that are very, very exciting for all of us as Imaginators. First of all, thank you, each and every one of you, for promoting our channel. 7,043 subscribers, on our way to 7,100. And then, of course, the big number being 8,000 now. We just got to keep it going and keep it growing. And we got to say a shout out welcome to our new set of Imaginators: Deborah Grady, Deborah Bronner, Aaron Kinter, Patrick Kern, and Sam Stalvey. Welcome, each and every one of you, to the Imaginators. We're so happy to have you with us. All right, enough of that being said. Again, happy St. Patrick's Day. Let's get this thing started. Ladies and gentlemen, our Imaginator in Chief, I am happy to introduce to you, please welcome Mr. Robert Hollis.
Thank you so much, Craig, for bringing your imagination to the Imaginator, the hostess with the mostest, or the Imaginator with the mostest. There we go. Uh, we have so much we're going to cover here today. You guys, we're going to even segment in a little bit. Matthew's going to come on here and just take your imagination to a level that I can guarantee you none of you have imagined yet. All right. So there's so much stuff I want to share with you guys, and it's neat to see Deborah. I know some of people know Deborah and Grady. It's so neat to have her here. She was a part of my other tangents where I was pushing into the imagination. And so before I even get started, she just jumped in here and she shared something sweet with me. And not Deborah Brana, Deborah Grady. And I just want to have her share with you, if she would, what she shared with me. So Deborah, are you there?
I am here, and I'm very happy and honored to be here. And I think God just works wonderful. I just happened to connect with you yesterday, and then you told me about this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Look how
Because
gorgeous you are, man.
thank you. Thank you. It's all God. But anyway, but anyway, yeah,
When did we meet?
I believe I was my second year in the company. I believe it's, and I started in the end of 2019. So
Okay, cool.
what was that, 2021, somewhere around
Yeah.
2021 or 21. I
Well,
believe
probably
that's
2019.
19. Yeah, I don't remember when I read your book. I don't remember. I just know that I was Googling one day and I found you. And I'm like, you know what? I wonder if it's okay. I'm not on his team, but I'm just going to sneak and listen to him too. I'm not going to tell my upline. I'm following somebody else, but I really like what this man has to say. So I have to listen to him. So then I found out it was okay. And I jumped on and, and joined in. And then I did the escape mastery with you
Right,
at the very beginning. So that you kind of set the foundation with me with escape mastery, and
right.
that was right up my alley, exactly what I needed to. And I just learned so much. It was like you opened up this whole new world. I follow the masters like Jim Rohn and blah blah blah, but I never had a live master, and I
Wow,
was
me
like,
too.
oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is like having a piece of Jim Rohn in life, because I know I could tell from you talking that you studied him. So I knew. And then when you brought up, well, I don't even know where my book is, because I think I'm on 52 days, my Augmandino book. So every January until whatever date, I'm on 52 days now. I read it for 100 days a year, the God Memorandum. And so it was like, that's my guy. We're aligned. And yeah, it just went on that way. And then we just kind of separated paths. There were, I had kind of outgrown where I was, and some other things were going on. And so I kind of, took a break, and now seeing you again. But you're the one that started me on that vision board and dreaming again. I was, at that time, I was just down. I wasn't embracing my age. I turned 70 and I was like, okay. And I didn't feel good. I was sick, and so I was just like, it's over for me. And all these dreams I've had since childhood, were just kind of like, they're never going to happen. But I'll get emotional because you opened up those seeds. I mean, it was like that seed was there, and you just like watered it with me, just gently, slowly through the our relationship. And I started dreaming again, and I started achieving again. And I'm living my best life now. I know there's so much more, but I've always had a heart for special needs, and I have something great coming up with, hopefully Tim Tebow shows up with a night to shine for all my little kids. And then I'm going to Italy. I lived there in the fifth grade, and I always wanted to go back. And May 1st, my sister and I are going back to where I went to
Yes.
fifth grade at. I never thought I'd ever get back to Italy. And there's just so many, I don't want to take up too much time. There's so many
No,
good
no,
things.
no. How's your now when I met you, you had a story about you sort of miss life, and not only are you old, but you're really sick. And
It was.
and yeah, how's your health today?
It's great. I'm working out at the gym. The last 3 months, 3.5 months, I've lost 20.5 pounds, and
Yes.
I'm taking really good supplements, and I'm working out at 4 times a week at the gym. I'm lifting weights. I had really bad sarcopenia, which happens when you get older, this muscle loss and all my muscle tissue. And that's your life. That's your life. Your muscle tissue is what keeps you alive. And so I happened to just, God bless me with a great coach, that a fitness and nutritionist that's been helping me on my journey. And it's just been a wonderful, and he's aligned with our thinking. So I got blessed with having somebody that, thinks like we do,
Yes.
and yeah, so life is, I'm very blessed. I'm just very thankful that I'm still here to show my children that I didn't want my life to end that way. That it was like, poor mom, she's sick, and we have to take care of her. And, so I'm just so thankful that God
Oh,
gave me. you know.
Deborah, you're making me emotional
I'm
because
very emotional.
yeah, well, what I'm doing now with Unlimited Wisdom, a nonprofit, and then bringing the core back of being an imaginator. You know what I mean? Is when you can get people plugged back into their imagination, which the world is pretty good at beating that out of us. You know, and so when you get it back, I know just tell you guys how much Deborah jumped into this. She knew that I like the God Memorandum. So what she did is she actually created these little booklets that just had the chapter 9 in them, the God Memorandum. And she would be passing out just that in these nice little binders. And of course, she sent me one.
And I personalized them with your name all throughout.
Yep,
Everybody's name is personalized to them.
yep. And so I'm so proud of you. I couldn't think about when you reached out to me, I'm going, okay, this is a woman that plugged into me years ago. And I never thought that I could start reaching out to people that I've helped in the past and go, hey, I imagine doing this with a group of people and just for generations I can go back and grab these people and share them. So Deborah, I love you and anything I can help you with and promote, let me know.
Oh, I love you too. You know that.
Yep, I do. So, uh, so now for those of you that can't imagine your future, now you can imagine that Deborah did it, you can do it, right? So all she did is plug into me years ago, and Melody plugged into me more years ago. And Matthew has been plugged into me for quite a while, 32 years. So, we're all at different levels of where we're going. And so I wanted to start out with that testimonial. Thank you, Deborah. And then I wanted to share a couple of other things. Now, I'm going to tell you where I found these things because you're going to hear different words so we can communicate with the world. When I learned how to connect hardwire, connecting to the ultimate imaginator, right? Um, when you're plugged in, I talk about when you're hardwired, you get downloads. And when you get downloads, what if you could live in a world where it won't stop downloading? And I thought I was an imaginator before. Now it's like 24 hours a day, these thoughts are just hitting me. And here's when I know that you're really connected. When you share a story with somebody and they immediately share a story that inspired and made them imaginate. Are you guys following this? So it was funny. I was talking to a friend of mine, Neil, and he shared this. Let me grab this quick. He shared this with me. I'm sure you guys have heard of Nelson Mandela, right? If you haven't, you gotta find out a story. So the power of imagination created the illusion that my vision went much further than my naked eye could actually see. And for those of you that don't know his story, the guy was in prison for 27 years. And when his biography came out, there was people that worked at the prison guards, that would hear him singing in prison. And they would come and beat him up for singing. And when they got done beating him up, he would start to sing again. And they went, "What is wrong with you? We don't understand you." And he said, "I'm free and you're not." Because he couldn't stop his imagination of what he was going to do for the country once he got out of prison. So I don't know if you know people that have had a bad life, but 27 years in a prison being beaten and tortured might be a little higher on the list than what your trauma was. And so I'm not saying that your trauma isn't there. I'm just saying that if you focus on your imagination, you don't think of the trauma, right? And so now I got people sending me all kinds of stuff. You guys know what Dolly's most known for? Her imagination library. So Dolly Parton is set a Guinness Book of World Records for giving away the most books than any person on the planet. And she talks about her awful childhood. And she said, you know what got me through my awful childhood? Reading stories about imagination. They took me away. So when I could read a book that people wrote down their imagination story, I forgot that I was being abused. Can any of you relate with that? Okay. So how many other things are like this? Now, I'm not preaching here, but I got this one that was given to me today as well. This might be a shocker for some of you. So Jesus said, truly I say to you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Wow. So some of you don't act like little children anymore. And you got too serious. And you hang around a group of people in the environment. So when we thought of playing with Barbies and we thought about, being a fireman or being an astronaut or being a singer, when we were wide open in our imagination, then what we did is we got stuck in a school system that said, listen, it's time to grow up. It's time to grow up and stop being an idiot. Stop that imagination. You got to focus on getting good grades and learning how to be a good employee. It's time for a reality check. So I know that this has never happened to any of you guys because all my mentor did for me, which I'm now not going to call him a mentor anymore. Deborah, thank you so much. I'm calling him a master because this is a mastermind of imaginators. For those of you that are not imaginators yet, my goal is to be a lot bigger than the Avengers. That you are all imaginators. And our goal is to help you to get into that creative state where everyone is blown away by what you're creating. See, people keep talking about products and comp plans and this company versus this company. Why I got all these trophies is because when I told my master, hey, Robert, where do you see yourself getting started? I don't have any money. I don't have any money. And he looked at me and said, what if I could show you that you could pull this off without any money? And I went, okay. And he pulled out a napkin and started drawing these circles on a napkin. And he says, Robert, the reason I got $62,000 this month is because I found 30 other people that didn't want to give up on their imagination. And so the reason I make money is because I got 30,000 people helping me. How many people do you have helping you? Nobody. I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but you know why a lot of people live on governmental assistance? Is you guys don't realize that you get to do that because there's a bunch of people paying taxes. So people that get to live off governmental assistance have a lot of people responsible for their income. So maybe you became dependent on that instead of locking in your imagination and helping other people get off of it. Because you could beat up people that are on governmental assistance and little older, Social Security, Medicare, whatever we need as older people. But that's not enough to live a life or be able to take a trip to Italy. So Deborah shared with me that her goal was to go to Italy. And when I met her, she couldn't see how that could happen. And now she's going to be sending us pictures from Italy. Okay. So I just thought I would throw that out there a little bit. So now I want to share some stuff with you that will touch your heart and inspire you. And then I got a cool little another testimonial to share with you from Katie. And then from there, we're going to go into Matt. So how many people know this little story about the golden ticket, Willy Wonka, and the chocolate factory? I'm going to watch it. Today, I'm going to watch it because I watched little shorts of it. And what I did is went on Google, and I ask every one of you guys to do this, is I went to Google and Chat GPT. And when I click on Google, not only do I search the word on Google, then I search it on images. You guys see the images? And then I search on videos. So I thought, what are the most famous songs that have the word imagine? And so, I'm going to let Craig right now share one of them with you. I'll post it in here, Craig.
Sounds good.
So while he's setting that up, how many people have seen Willy Wonka? You guys notice the scene in it? I looked at a trailer and I had to shut it off because it showed a little boy sleeping on a floor, and the grandparents and parents, 4 adults, are sleeping in a queen-size bed. And he comes running in the house and he said, Willy Wonka is giving away gold tickets, and I'm going to get one. And Grandpa said, that doesn't happen for people like us. Stop dreaming. That stuff doesn't happen to people like us. And he goes, why not? And he says, because all the wealthy families and they know people and they're all network, and they're going to buy up all the candy bars. You're not going to get a golden ticket. Right? And they go, you don't even have the money. You don't even have the money. We don't have the money to get you a candy bar in hopes that there's a golden ticket in there. And the rest is history. The little boy goes, I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I'm going to get the golden ticket. I'm going. And he brings his grandpa, Mr. Negative. So to find a way to cheer this up. Boy, it's quiet for a reason.
Oh, hey, this will do it.
Yeah.
Here's a story on how strange is life with its changes, and it happened not long ago. On a high mountain plain where the sagebrush arranges a playground south of the snow, lived a lamb with a coat of remarkable sheen. It would glint in the sunlight all sparkly and clean, such a source of great pride that it caused him to preen. And he'd break out in high step and dance. He would dance for his neighbors across the way. I must say that they found his dancing enhancing, for they'd also join in the play. Then one day, bounding up the slope came a great American jackalope. This sage of the sage, this rare hair of hope, caused to pause and check out the lamb. Hey kid, why the mope?
Well, I used to be something all covered with fluff, and I'd dance in the sunlight and show off my stuff. Then they hauled me away in a manner quite rough and sheared me and dumped me back here in the buff. And if that's not enough, now my friends all laugh at me, 'cause they think I look ridiculous, funny, and pink.
Pink? Pink? Well, what's wrong with pink? Seems you've got a pink kink in your think. Doesn't matter what color, that gets nope. Be it pink, purple, or heliotrope. Now, sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. When you find that you're down, well, just look around. You still got a body, good legs and fine feet. Get your head in the right place and hey, you're complete. Now, as for the dancing, you can do more. You can reach great heights. In fact, you can soar. You just get a leg up and you slap it on down, and you'll find you're up in what's called a bound. Bound, bound and rebound. Bound and you're up right next to the sky. And I think you can do it if you give it a try. First get a leg up, slap it on down. So every year, long about May, they'd load him up and they'd haul him away, and they'd shape him and dump him all naked and bare. He learned to live with it. He didn't care. He just bound, bound, bound and rebound. Now in this world of ups and downs, so nice to know there are jackalopes around.
So is this better than people just saying, listen, Arthur, get your head out of your ass and just change your mental state? You can change your mental state. Or wouldn't it be better not to say that to Arthur and just say, Arthur, I totally understand where you are. And here's the things that I do to get right back into imagination, is watching other people imaginate. And so the thing I want to leave you with is this. You guys already know that you attract what you imaginate. And when you're in that imagination hard drive, then everything you look at is other people living out their best lives and wide open imagination. In the midst of all the chaos and the ugliest things in the world right now, there's these imaginators everywhere using their superpowers and living a life that others dreamed about right in the midst of right now. So now maybe you guys can understand me a little more when I'm talking about a fighter that dreamt this his whole life and now he won the world championship, or a Caitlin Clark, not only breaking the women's record, but then breaking the men's record. And then after that, she broke Stephen Curry's 3-point record in college. Do you think she set out to break records? Or you just think she's really good at staying in imagination? You know what her coach says? You know what her players say, or teammates? You know what the fans say? The score doesn't matter. She's still on the court. Imagine people thinking of you that way. So now I'm going to tell you something else that was given to me. And now I understand people better than I ever have. Because the imaginators, or the people that have incredible imagination, we don't understand them. So today, I always watch Sunday Morning because it's got great stuff on it. And did you guys know that there's a company in California that makes $50 million a year? And you know what they sell? Koi fish. Koi fish, because in the United States, in the Midwest, we call this carp. It's a mud eater. It's a bottom feeder. The meat doesn't even taste good. So every year, I know this sounds bad, but there's still places that flood from the rivers. And these carp are in there eating weeds and eating, stuff. And so there's such an undesirable fish that they pay hunters to go shoot them with bow and arrow so they can move it, make it out of cat food. They grind up carp and make them into cat food because they're not good eating. In Japan, they took that same fish and a bunch of people started raising them different so that they were multicolored. And these are now koi fish, and they bring you luck. What is luck? I don't know. But I need a pond somewhere on my property, and I got to buy very expensive koi to have in my koi pond. How can one person treat something like garbage and just throw it away and it's another person's treasure? Imagination. So guess what's happening in Laguna Beach, California this weekend? Of course, a koi fish competition. If you can have the best in show for a dog. Why can't you have the best in show for your koi fish? So it showed these thousands of people that were going to this koi fish competition, and everyone had their little koi fish in a little pond, and they had judges that was going from one koi pond to another, evaluating who's the best of the show. And it hit me. It hit me. Because every one of us have heard somebody on TV or on a show or in live person, and we're like, what is wrong with this person? I don't understand. I'm not interested in koi. I don't want koi. I don't want to pay a lot of money. I don't want to maintain them. Who would be stupid enough to be jacked out of their mind to raise koi and put them in a contest? Oh, those same kind of imaginators that look at a picture in a museum that's worth millions of dollars, and I look at it and go, don't get it. Wouldn't hang it on my wall if you gave it to me. If you gave it to me, I'd sell it and use the money for orphans. People that collect Pokemon cards, stamps. Have you guys ever met somebody that seems like their elevator doesn't go all the way to the top floor? And you don't understand, like I did with Coach Bob yesterday, hey, let's get a bunch of people together and create a fantasy football game. I'm going to create a team. I don't need to go any further. You guys get it right away. But that's why people don't understand why I would watch mixed martial arts, or why I like NASCAR, or why I like motorsports. It's not that I like it. It's that people like me had a dream. And I had this imagination in a hot rod magazine. And I went, they put a Corvette motor in a Vega. Everyone knows that the way to speed in the quarter mile is the biggest motor with the lightest car. Oh, yeah, it's pretty freaking dangerous, but it's pretty freaking awesome. So I would get people around me and I'd start up my car and they'd put their hands on their ears. And they would go, oh my God, I can't even, this is crazy. You could possibly kill yourself. You need a parachute to slow down the damn car? I'm like, you don't understand. You don't understand. And they're going, why would you spend all your time and all your money building this stupid little car? It's because the only people that I knew that seemed like they had anything going on in life was these two people that were so damn excited building their race cars in their garage. Do you guys get it now? So when you see little girls and little boys, I'm going to be a singer. Oh, yeah, you are. I love Taylor Swift. I'm going to be a singer. And it's like, no, let me beat that out of you. You know what the chance is? There's 1 in 8 trillion of being a Taylor Swift. You can't be an actor. Yet we hear stories like, Jim Carrey writing a check to himself for $10 million. And what did he get the $10 million check for? 2 back-to-back. One for Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and then Dumber and Dumber. Now, these are like really good Oscar-winning shows, right? I don't think he cares if you like him or not. Is this helping you guys? So if you met somebody that had their imaginator powers and wide open, and they talk to you about a company or an opportunity that you wait. One day I'm going to have 30,000 people in my group, and they're all going to be imaginators, and they're all going to be doing their best to help other people become imaginators. You got to get in, you got to go to work. And majority of people say no, I'm lazy. That's not for me. I'm not a people person. I'm already caught up. I already had the dream beat out of me. I already had the imagination beat out of me. I got a good paying job, and I don't get paid enough, but I guess this is it. I guess, having a spouse and a couple of children and maybe a pet. Yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. And so instead of people teaching them how to imagine, here's a better deal. Teach them how to sail. Teach them closing skills, manipulation skills. Teach people to take people's money and never teach them how to imagine. There. Because it's really not about imagination or helping other people. It's about money, right? So if you're brought into this industry by the wrong people with no imagination, yeah, it could scar you forever. Because the worst success is a little. So you make a little bit of money, and then you think, oh, I know how to do this. It's about coming up with facts and figures and getting people to buy stuff for me. That's what it is. Hey, Robert, I've been doing this business for years. I bring people in, they leave. I bring people in, they leave. I bring people in, they leave. Yeah, because you have no imagination. And because you don't share that with other people. My master put me in imagination, and I've been in it for 37 years. So now you guys know my secret. Whether or not you decide to become an imaginator or not is totally up to you. But I want to tell you, it's going to be hard to build a following if you don't. So that's my little stuff for today. Now what I'm going to do is this little imagination course that we're doing now, being part of the Imaginator. We're all going to be master imaginators. So now you guys understand when people come in my life like Deborah. My imagination for Deborah was to get her to become an imaginator, not to have her be a top rank in my company. If you guys talk to Deborah and other people that I know, Melody, and the people that have been around me forever, Eric, I've never, ever, ever looked at them and said, well, you're just not bringing in enough people or selling enough product, so we can't be friends anymore. Did you guys catch it? So people like Deborah and Katie and Kelly, we got these people that are learning from me now, and they're not even in my organization. Why am I wasting my time with you guys? I'm not wasting my time with you. Because I don't know if I shared your guys' imagination with me. For me to share it with you. In one of my darkest moments of my life, all I could think about is asking for help. For those of you that don't understand religion, that's okay. I reached out to my imaginary friend. And I said, man, would you please help me? Would you please help me? I even remember saying, there's no way I can get any lower than this. I don't care what you have for my life. If you want me to go to another country, if you want me to spread the word about your imagination, you got me. You got me. I'm listening. And when I was at my darkest moment and asked for help, a friend that a person that I met, he wasn't a friend, a person I met a couple of times at a family reunion, barbecue, because he was dating my cousin, reached out to me and said, you're never going to believe what I seen. What? I met this guy today. He made 62 grand. I seen the check. It was attached to the stub. And he's looking for people that he can teach and show how to do the same thing. Do you guys know that my master never gave me a script, never told me what to say, didn't tell me who to talk to, didn't tell me where to go? He did tell me to stop talking about the product and the company. He said, Robert, you put my video in front of 70 people in a month, and you'll find the people that still have a little spark of imagination in them. I promise you will. And that's why I ask people, hey, who do you know? And I start describing them. They're a storyteller. They're full of imagination. Their house is better than ordinary. Their cars and toys are better than ordinary. They traveled all over the world. Because these are people that have a little more imagination than the rest of the average ordinary people. And so they'll attempt extraordinary things. And I'm just looking for people that have reached the top of their imagination, because now you hear if you own your own business, I can't find good enough help. Well, how do you find a person that can't find good help and they don't know how to motivate them? And then you find Richard Branson, a billionaire. Richard Branson teaches people that you can start by sweeping a floor and working in a mail room. And now this person's a CEO of this company. This guy's a CEO of this company. She's a CEO of my company. He took people at the ground floor and taught them to imagine owning their own company and being partners with him. So he doesn't want the biggest, baddest company on the planet like people in the US. He wants hundreds of $100 million companies. Wow. What a concept. So in all of this, I wanted to really quickly share with you, Katie reached out to me. And when it pops, it pops. So, Katie reached out to me and went, oh my God, I could remember, when I was playing with Barbie. And then she just started going off. So Katie, talk about how that instilled in you some cool stuff.
Hey guys. Okay.
Hey, how are you?
So I am on the biggest cloud of gratitude. My bucket is so full. So yesterday, my vision and my imagination came full force. So I had my first event here in Calvert County, and is Shamrock Showdown. I had 22 Shamrock Showdown, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. 22 small businesses in my community won big yesterday. So we had somewhere between 400 to 500 people come out. This is my very first event. I knew I could throw a party, y'all, but I just wasn't really sure like I could do it this big. So we raised some money for a Board of Education. Satan tried to attack in so many ways. I pretty much told one of the planning and commissioning zoning people to come on out and have a beer and enjoy a fun day with the family, and our event will continue. And if you would like to try and find me, then I'll deal with you with my attorney. It was a great day and nobody showed up to have a beer with me, so I don't really care. But I share that because I was able to talk to 2 other vendors in depth, about 5 minutes maybe. And I got them to imagine. We were crying, we were hugging, we were living out our perfect day. Visualize your perfect day, this, that, the other. And it just flowed so easily because I believe in it so much. So, but I kind of stepped back and I was like, oh my gosh, like it just was so authentic and so heartfelt and so genuine. And I'm just like, look at me go. Look at me. I don't really hold back too much when I have something to say, but it just flowed from my heart. And I shared scripture and I shared Jesus, and he is working in me, y'all. So a couple weeks ago was about February 29th. The blessing of the norovirus bug, it brought me down 4 days. But the blessing is, after that, I removed all alcohol. I removed all tobacco. I removed all cannabis. And I did have alcohol and tobacco on Friday. I digress. However, that period of almost 2 weeks, which I will go back to that sobriety, no doubt about it, because the mental clarity and the pure connection and the pure discernment that came from that, God was reminding me of things that I dreamt about, that I forgotten about 10, 12 years ago. He tells me, remember those kids at Casa Pacifica in California? Remember how happy you were? Remember all those kids smiling at you and you helping them wrap birthday presents or Christmas presents for their family? And then he brought me back my full visions, like clear visions of me at the Ventura missions, serving, watching moms fight over the last thing of diapers for their kids.
Yeah.
And just remembering how that impacted me. So my nonprofit is unmaskedtherapy.org. Ever since that I was able to socialize that at my event yesterday, but my mission is I will be bridging the gap of all the therapies that children need that were impacted by the mask mandates that COVID brought on. Speech therapy, phonetically, mental health, and also provide the parents the resources that they need to deal with their own trauma that they had to deal with. There's no manual for this thing of parenthood, right? So then also being able to get the parents their resources that they need. So Unmasked Therapy will give the families that the resources that they need to close the gap for their babies that our administration, our public schools have completely failed our babies, and our babies deserve more. This is our future, right?
Right.
So a blessing of this, Zerlene gets tutored on Mondays and Thursdays, socializing it with her tutor. God is just flooding all of the doors. I have like 82 doors and an 8x8 she shed in my backyard, y'all. And they just are flying open. I'm not even kidding. I don't have a she shed, but that's just a thing. Anyway, not yet. There was a huge lawsuit in Fairfax County, Virginia, a huge civil lawsuit because of the mismanagement of funds that these schools failed to, all of the children with IEPs, they failed to get the parents the resources, etc., during the whole unnecessary mask mandate forced upon these kids. And two of the people that are involved in this, two other nonprofits who are involved in this, have reached out to me. And I am running. My boots are laced. My sparkly sequence boots, they're laced up, ready to go. But it's funny because watching these cute little animals on the Bounden video, that was me dancing with all the little kids doing the jig yesterday. And I had a ball. I got live music. It was just a blessing. And it was just like the biggest hug from God all day. Like, well done.
Katie,
And he
I'm
gets
gonna.
all of the glory for all of the blessings. It is all his. It is all him.
I'm getting people requesting your website now. Is it unmaskedtherapies.org?
It'll be unmaskedtherapy.org. My logo and
it will be. In other words, it's not out yet.
This week, my logo will be done. So check out my logo. Visualize. Imagine. A group of 8 beautiful little children in all kind of Pixar animation. All of their hands are together, like they're going to do like a team huddle. They'll be holding an American flag. And instead of launching their graduation caps, they're launching their masks.
Katie, thank you so much for sharing, man. Thank you.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So my next event that I'm going to be throwing in my community in October, all the profits will go to unmaskedtherapy.org. As soon as it's live, my website is live, 5013C. Robert's going to be on my board. I'm working with the CPA, and let's go, God.
Let's go.
Use me to glorify you. Use me to glorify you. Period.
We're all Imaginators, and we're all going to help each other out. So
yes,
thank you, baby.
I love you guys.
Now the next one I want to bring up is Kelly.
Okay, before we get to Kelly, just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, I posted the link in the chat. It's not out yet, but look for it. Right, Katie? All right, so look for it this week. And post an announcement also on your pages that so that we can find it, please. Thank you very much.
So let's listen to Kelly talk about her remembering something I wanted her to share, that, this part brought up something in her. And I know that she's got a video to make sure she can share with us. So Kelly, share with everyone.
Hi, Robert. Thank you so much. So after the first week of Imaginators, I'm like, you like cut me off like, but, and you're like, nah. And I'm like, so afterwards I was like, I need to get rid of that word, but. And I was, and I'm, as Imaginators, we're always thinking, always. And so I was in the bathroom getting myself ready and blow drying my hair. And that's when I do my best thinking. And I just started imagining that when I was a little girl, I was fortunate enough to have a grandma that I was the only granddaughter, and she had enough money that I had every freaking thing Barbie could ever want. I had the Barbie dream house with the elevator. I had the dream swimming pool. I had Barbie's motorhome. And right outside in my garage, I still have Barbie's pink Jeep because I could not get rid of it. I am 52, people, and I carry Barbie's pink Jeep around with me because as a little girl, I used to go in my room and I would string these Barbies out. And I was thinking to myself, Barbie didn't give a shit what she looked like. She just knew she was a big deal. Like, Barbie didn't have anyone telling her that her clothes were ugly or that her hair was a mess or that she didn't have to worry about money. Like, Barbie just did things, right? Like, she got in the car and went wherever she wanted. And in my imagination, Barbie did all of these things I did these things
Yeah.
through Barbie
Yes, you
without a
did.
care in the world, without anything. And I'm like, that's it. That's exactly where I need to be right now, is
You
in
you
this.
were you were Barbie's ride or die.
Right. Like Barbie didn't worry about who was making fun of who or who was better than who, or Barbie didn't compare herself to people, and Barbie didn't have someone breathing down her throat saying, you're not good enough.
You need to get a
Like if
job.
they did,
You need to
what?
get a job. Where did someone tell Barbie that you needed to go to school, get a degree, and work for somebody?
Right. Nobody
Why?
did. Like Barbie
She
was
already
unstoppable.
had everything.
And I would sit in my room for hours. And Barbie would marry Ken. And if Ken didn't toe the line, then he went back in the box and G.I. Joe came out. Like it's no big deal. Right? Like G.I. Joe would come out with his tank and he was kind of a big deal. And Barbie had Skipper and Barbie had friends. And I could cut Barbie's hair completely off like the Legend of Billie Jean. And Barbie was still a badass, right? Like I could, Barbie's arm could fall off and she would never even know she was still a big deal. Like, think about this. So, why aren't we as adults playing Barbies? Those were the best times of my life. And I was talking with Jamie Romine, and he's like, you know what? That reminds me. It reminds me of when I was a little boy and I played Matchbox cars. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I don't know any woman that ever had a Barbie doll that can't relate with this. And so I'm like, I got to do a video. And I got on AI and I typed in, create me an image of a little blonde girl with a bob playing Barbies. Well, AI is just a little wonky. And sometimes there would be a hand somewhere where like, just dream up this hand somewhere, or Barbie wouldn't be a Barbie. It would just be a blob.
Right.
And so I kept having to go back in and
Keep prompting
reconstruct
it.
this whole, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not necessarily as happy with just these images. So I went back into my archives and I found pictures of myself. And I interwove pictures of me as a tiny little girl growing up, and how when I got in my teenage years, I'd been going to school. I've been going to school and I'm listening to the people, and now I'm in this where you had to dress a certain way and look a certain way, and Barbie ended up in a box in the corner of my room. And then at some point in my teenage years, Barbie ended up taped up in a box in my parents' garage. And then I went off to college and I went through heartbreaks and losses, and people telling me I wasn't good enough, and feeling like here I go, like here is the trajectory, right? And so my mother, bless her heart, packed my shit around for 100 years. And when we sold my mom's house, like a few years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, when we sold my mom's house and we put everything in storage, damn if she didn't have my Barbies in a box, my Barbie Jeep. And she's like, what do you want me to do with this? And I'm like, bring it to me now. Like, I don't want to live without Barbie, right? Like, I don't want to live without, like, Barbie is downstairs underneath in my laundry room in a box. And my next video, by the way, is going to be 52-year-old Kelly getting Barbie out.
Yes.
And setting Barbie on the counter and dressing her in one of the fancy dresses that she had. And I'm going to wash Barbie's Jeep. I'm going to shine up Barbie's pink Jeep, and she's going to go for a freaking ride down my driveway in that Jeep. And I'm 52 and I'm going to do this because honestly, like, that's where the breakdown came. The minute Barbie went into a box, I stopped imagining, and I started listening to the world, and I don't know where this is going to go from here for me, but I think it's going to be a series of videos.
Kelly, if you went to Facebook, right, or just Google and put in people that are Barbie fans, are people that you know, especially with this movie that just came out.
Right.
It's like how many people can you say, listen, you're not going to achieve the life that you want for you and your children if you don't get back into Barbie state.
Right. Right.
It's like, yeah.
Barbie didn't care that her elbows didn't bend. Like it didn't stop her from doing anything. Right? She didn't care that Ken's hair was plastic. She just loved him anyway.
Kelly,
I
thank
mean,
you.
it just, and
Kelly,
so it
please.
was just this analogy of this is where I imaginated and this is where I stopped. And so I went all the way through it about how the woman pulled, as an older lady, she found her Barbies again and she pulled them out and she remembered
Yes.
how to imagine. And so it's actually on my YouTube channel.
Please post it. Can you please post the link?
Oh yeah, let me.
Is it MDC for me? Is that your YouTube channel?
Yes, MDC for me.
Okay, now where is it? Is it under videos?
It should say it should be the last video that I did, full video.
Can you imagine? Oh, there it is. All right, hang on. It's 4 minutes and 58 seconds.
No, we're gonna let everyone go and make sure they subscribe.
The views got to go to Kelly, so you guys got to go to her channel to watch it.
That's
so
right.
The algorithm will get more people.
I love you guys. Look at you, always thinking Matthew Hollis. Anyway,
Hey.
so yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna go with it yet, but I think that there is like a million different avenues I could go.
Yeah, million.
And I used to do a thing called
million.
car, but yeah, thank you, Robert, for
there's
doing
conventions.
this.
Hey, I know if there's conventions for, all these people that dressed up as video characters and go to these large conventions,
cosplay,
there's damn Barbie convention someplace.
I was gonna say when me and my wife went and saw Barbie, because when it came out, everyone was going and seeing it, right? And I love Greta Gerwig's films, and she was the director on this. So like we went to the Irvine Spectrum, which is like this big movie theater in Irvine, California, in this shopping center. It's like one of the biggest theaters in Southern California. And I cannot even tell you guys the amount of people dressed as Barbie and in pink. The whole place was full of people.
And they have like big photo booths set up that look like a Barbie girl's box so they can take their
No, it was
picture.
funny because like I said, there's a whole outdoor mall and you couldn't walk around that mall anywhere that day or the next few days without seeing people dressed in all pink or dressed like Barbie or whatever it may be, like people were
That's
really
because they remembered.
Yes.
Yeah, that movie does a good job at reminding people. Yeah. I even love how like Greta wrote a scene in that film to combat kind of the new generation, because I grew up with like the millennials and stuff, and they had a shift in the way that they saw Barbie, where they saw it was like, oh, women are forced into these stereotypical roles or whatever. So even in the film, they have a part where Barbie has a conversation with the younger girl about that, which if you guys watch the movie, it's an incredible film. So I highly recommend it.
I haven't even seen it. Honestly.
Really? You would love it.
No, this literally.
Oh, look at it. All of a sudden, Kelly's
I think the audio broke out.
Oh, no. And I think she's frozen. Oh, I think we lost Kelly. Oh, no.
That's all right. She's speechless, Arthur.
Yeah, I agree, Arthur.
Well, when she comes back, we'll
bring her back.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, of course. No, yeah, I love hearing Kelly's story and Katie and just everybody here. I am so proud to be part of this group, and even when Kelly was sharing, like I went through similar things like that. When I was growing up, I always loved to do filmmaking and animation. And so even being young, I had the fortunate ability to, my dad would camcorder record his meetings at his Marriott's and stuff for ACN at the time. So because of that, we had a camcorder at our disposal at home, and therefore I got to use that to shoot. I learned how to like do stop motion. My dad helped me, but it's, start the camera, move something a little bit, stop it, start it, stop it. And then when you put it all together, it looks like it's moving, right? This is like Wallace and Gromit. So I used to do like stop motion with Legos and stuff, and that would eventually, and I'd write stories, and that eventually turned into doing animation on the computer with Flash and stuff like that. But at some point along the line, just like what Kelly was saying, I kind of got more, maybe it was my teenage years and things like that, but I got more um close to the vest with my creativity, unless if it was like business oriented. Like I've said before, I do creative stuff every single day. Like my job over the last decade has consisted of being creative every single day. But I never saw it exactly as like my complete creativity in the same way. Just because it was always driven by data, or it was always driven not necessarily by feeling, right? Which is like a huge difference. So now having AI go the way that it's going, and even before AI took off, I was already in a space mentally where I was starting to learn animation, modern day animation tools, because I just knew that I wanted to tell stories, and I wanted to do that not only as a career, but just to get the thoughts and ideas that I have out there and like impact people. So I love that we started with Bounden and stuff like that, because those are the types of shorts and things that inspired me to do what I'm doing now. And it's just a reminder when I was a kid watching those things, because Pixar was the company. One of the first movies I remember seeing that inspired me to make things was Toy Story, and Pixar was the company that like I wanted to work at. If you would have asked me when I was a kid where I wanted to work, it was Toy Story. I was like, or not Toy Story, Pixar. I'm like, I am building a career so then when I get older, eventually I can work at Pixar. That changed when I realized that um that working at Pixar kind of entailed me telling other people's stories, like a lot of crunch, a lot of work, a lot less storytelling, a lot more work. And the tools were complex, like at the time, the tools still to this day for those animated movies require hundreds of people to do in even the most minuscule of things, right? Like it's a very refined art form, and that's why it takes years to make an animated film, 4 or 5 years sometimes, especially the big ones. So when you think about your life and you think about what you want to do with it, I just did not want to spend 3 or 4 years of my life each time making someone else's story, right? Before I would eventually, maybe in my 40s or 50s, get the chance to write and make my own thing. I just didn't want that as my future. So I went more into like the marketing world and more into the entrepreneurial world with my dad, and that allowed me to have not only the free time to do things, but also like consistently be a learner. I think in a lot of ways, um, being a consistent learner and creative person is like lost on modern day society because it's so important. We're like so distracted by everything that's happening. We don't really have the time to like sit and learn something new that we've always wanted to learn, like playing guitar or something like that. We just don't have enough time, or we have too many things on our mind, or the world is in all these disarray places. Why would I even learn guitar, right? All different kinds of thoughts and negative feelings come in with this stuff. But I could tell you guys for a fact that if you go back to a place, exactly what Kelly was sharing, exactly what we've been sharing here, of childhood excitement, creativity, and learning. If you could be hypersensitive to learning, wanting to know things, and not just things that are around the world, but the things that you want to know about. If you watch a kid and they want to learn how to do something like play basketball or something like that, they're more than willing to go through the basic steps to get there because they're excited about every single one of those steps. They're not seeing in the same way like all of the negatives. They're not seeing all the ways that they could get hurt along the way, the ways that we would talk ourselves out of our dreams, the way that we do that. And I'm one of those people too. Like I said, I looked at the tools and the time and I went, I'm going to put this on the back burner. Maybe I'll do more physical films, although that's not really like something I've always wanted to do. I've always kind of wanted to do an animation. And so I just kind of put it on the back burner and continue to write and do those things. And as you guys know, AI all of a sudden started to pick up over the last year and a half. And then I watched text to image pick up. So then that means you could write a prompt and get an image, like Kelly was saying. Is it perfect? No, but it's a language that you're having a conversation. It's a conversational language with something that is hyper intelligent, but not exactly intelligent enough to understand everything we would say.
Show them your imagination.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
also noticed, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I also
no, go
noticed
ahead, Kelly.
I asked it to write, draw me a graphic that said this. And it writes it in some weird language and jumbles it all up on the graphic. And I'm just like, okay, what words do I use to make it stand out and be in English? I even tried that and it just was all. So I'm still perfecting that part, but it is a
Yeah.
little bit frustrating.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think, you know, if you guys know anything about my story over the last couple of weeks, there was this AI film festival that I decided to try to make something for. And this was to do two things. One, I know with myself, I don't know if everyone's this way, but if I have a deadline, I will spend a lot more time learning and a lot more time working than if I just say, I'll get to it when I get to it. And I've been with my own creativity saying, I'll get to it when I'll get to it for 10 years or so. Right. So it's been a long time where it's like, okay, I'll get to this when I'll get to this. So having this deadline kind of forced me to sit down and learn all of these tools and learn all of these things that are like hyper complex at the current moment with what I'm doing because of exactly the same things you said, Kelly. The inconsistency with AI requires, you know, I'll share my screen so you guys can see.
Yeah, Matt, I was just going to say, now that I'm really on this state of being in imagination, I don't want to hear people talk about shit. Just show me.
Well, I think one of the interesting things is when people see this, though, I always feel like I need to preface this because when people see this, they go, oh, no, I'm never going to do that. Because they're looking at this and they're going, yeah, Lisa Marie, this might look familiar to you. This is Buddy, Lisa Marie's character. So I animated it for her and played around with it a little bit. But this is called Comfy UI. This is something that's running on my computer. And this is what I used to create pretty much all of the shots that are inside of the farmer currently. So, you know, there's certain ones that you'll see here that are very, very, very detailed and very much more realistic in movement and physics and stuff. And this, believe it or not, like this workflow that I'm showing you guys here is the one that I used just to whip up that for Lisa Marie. But this is what me and the team have been working on. This is called Megalodon. So this is a all-in-one workstation for AI on your PC to make movies. And this is how
appropriately named.
Right. And this at this current moment in time is where it is to make something like what I was showing you for the next couple of weeks. So this technology has been, I've said, as far as people go, there's a large group of people that are interested in this technology, like probably the most massive group of creatives I've seen in a long time on one technology because it's growing so fast. At the same time, it's very much like my computer that I have built here that's running this with my graphics card is a $5,000 computer. I use it for video editing, all different kinds of things. What you're seeing here is not even capable of being run on anything more than a $4,000 computer. So out of that group of people that's interested in this, you then have a smaller niche that has the opportunity, like I do, to work in this field, work and do things with this. So I also take this very seriously because I'm like, you know, I'm one of maybe a couple hundred or less in the whole world that's doing this. So I feel very fulfilled by it because I'm also helping on the research end of it and like trying new things. A lot of these pipelines and stuff that you're seeing here are doing things like refining their eyes, refining their hands, allowing you to move or change their shirt, do all these things that you could ask GPT to do, but it might not do perfectly, right? You might have to prompt it a million times, and that's the issue. The more and more you prompt, the longer this process takes, and it starts to become like old-fashioned animation. Because I was sitting there trying to make The Farmer and learn these tools in the span of 3 weeks to enter a short film. So I had to write a short film. Thanks, GPT, for helping me. I had to get all the shots together, make all the shots, render all the shots. And then once I had them all rendered, which takes a while because like we've seen, could render, Buddy here, I had to render him maybe like 20 or 30 times even in this before I got a shot that I considered good enough to share with you guys. And that's with it running through this whole workflow. So, you'll see like a wing will get distorted or something. There's pieces of technology that I'm going to show you guys here in a second that are solutions to this problem and will make it even faster. And I'm actually already taking things from this workflow and already taking them into things that require no computer whatsoever you can do on your phone to fix the problems that this workflow was used to do. So what's so interesting about this workflow Megalodon is over the last couple of weeks, we've been adding to this and changing it and making, it crashed. That's normal. But we've been taking this workflow and been adding things to it and changing things about it consistently to fix these problems with AI video because it's just such an issue, right? And so I ended up being in a place where I did a rough cut and entered it into the competition, but I almost basically like gave up on the competition altogether to fulfill the need to learn in this technology and push it. I just saw, like, in my mind, I saw the competition no longer as the end all be all, but not even the beginning. Like it had spurred me to get into a place that was the beginning. And the beginning was not just learning these tools, but teaching these tools. I can't tell you guys how different it is having a career kind of teaching marketing or teaching certain things, web design, all these things that I've done in my career so far, to finally be back to creativity and be teaching this imagination and creativity. Because I could tell you guys about this, and like my dad said, or I could just show you guys. So I'm going to show you guys. So with that said, the first couple of tools I'm going to show you guys are based off of specific things that you might want to do creatively, right? So this is roberthollis.com/AI are all these tools. And down here, I have steps to start on YouTube. So even if you have just a smartphone, you can start a YouTube channel, start making content right away, right now. And you got all these steps. I've got YouTube tutorials in here showing you exactly how to use all these apps. I even have a YouTube tutorial in here on how to master talking to ChatGPT. Kelly, that might be useful for you to get some better prompts out of GPT, or you just wait. Either way, GPT-5 is like right around the corner. It's funny. I pulled up these Sam Altman's the CEO of OpenAI, and Jimmy Apples' account on Twitter X. That's like his ghost account. So for some reason, these famous people, they don't want to, if he tweets something weird on this account, it could like change the stock market. So what a lot of these guys do is they make like ghost accounts where they just talk about whatever they want. And it's kind of like not, Sam Altman hasn't said Jimmy Apples is his, but like a lot of people believe that it is. So he responds because he's like, patience, it'll be worth it, because he's like, where is ChatGPT 5? And today, 3 hours ago, he tweeted, this is the most interesting year in human history, except for all future years. So this is just the man that's leading the charge with Microsoft to build the strongest AI. This is the man who runs ChatGPT and OpenAI. So like I said, ChatGPT 5 is like right around the corner. DALL-E 4 will be part of that. And I do believe 100% that it will hit those prompts. Exactly, because even what we're seeing from Sora, the video model that they have, it's very precise on video prompts. So I cannot imagine how well it will run image prompts, like putting text, having things specific, or even having like 10 different things in there. That's another issue, is if the more things you add to a prompt, the more jarbled mess you're going to get, right? It's good to stick to 4 or 5 things instead of adding 10. If you add 10 little things like, oh, there's a pink flower in the right-hand corner, odds are you ain't getting a pink flower in the right-hand corner. It's just not going to get that. Soon it will. So with that said, this is roberthollis.com/AI. These are all the current AI tools we recommend or are worth checking out. Some of these are not going to be useful for everybody, but I made this document so that as we build Imaginators, we can consistently refer back to it for what you would like to do creatively with artificial intelligence. Now, another cool or funny thing, I believe it or not, South by Southwest was just going on, and they had a video that was playing, and it was a trailer about working with artificial intelligence in creative arts, like film, television, video games, these things like that. The audience was booing like as loud as you could imagine. Like they were booing quite a bit, right? And we could find a clip, because the truth be told, you guys, the normal status quo current spot of creativity sees this not only as a job killer, but a massive disruptor in everything that's been happening. So in my mind, being optimistic and knowing that this technology isn't going to fucking disappear, right? It's only going to get better. We adapt. We don't fight it. We adapt. AI is the best tool for create human creativity that has ever existed on planet Earth. There's never been, in my opinion, a piece of technology that allows you to do more creative shit than this. Nothing. I've created music. I've written poems. I've done all different kinds of things with AI. And these are ideas, like Kelly said, that I may have had or Katie said, I may have had a decade ago and are now coming back to me, right? And I'm going, I can fulfill these ideas now. I had that idea for that song that was a mixture of these two things and had these lyrics. And then it's like, boom, you can now make that thing. You don't have to go learn guitar and go learn all these editing softwares. You can refine it with AI. So seeing AI as an assistant to the learning process and to the building process, I've always wanted to be a film director. So directing is working with a bunch of different creative departments to get one singular vision done. This for me is like an easy transition. I could see if you were like someone that was just a writer or just a artist, how this could be scary, because it can replicate things, but it can also streamline your abilities to do stuff. So once again, I'm talking and not showing, but I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So roberthollis.com/AI. Vizard is a tool that we've already shared. This will take any video you have and turn it from short form or long form into short form bite-sized videos that you can upload to TikTok. You can upload to YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels. vidIQ is a tool that allows you to learn more about YouTube, whether it's like what videos you should be making, what niche to be going in. It even allows you to, and I'm going to breeze over some of these tools because I want to get to the creative ones, but I do, since this is the first Imaginators call where I'm really talking because my internet went out, I wanted to share these so everyone has them. That is coming in the future to this. vidIQ is really, really good for making thumbnails and figuring out YouTube videos. At some point, it can even create YouTube videos for you, like in video later down the line here. Believe it or not, Vizard actually just the other day came out with B-roll, and it actually can make AI B-roll, which is insane. So now you're not even paying for B-roll shots anymore. It can listen to what you're making in your video and go, I should make a 3 or 4 second video that looks like this with AI and edit it in there. And it does it. And you're like, wow, I didn't even have to do anything, right? So, for me, it's less creative control and I would prefer more. But for some people that want to get content out or don't want to work with those things, think of yourself as a director, right? You're like, great, this department, I don't have to do anymore. I could trust the people that are in that department to do the jobs that I need to have done. So this one is CapCut. CapCut is a software that you can edit. It's free. The phone app, I think, is a paid phone app, but as far as things go, it's one of the most powerful editing tools out there. There's also another one that's a little more high tech if you wanted to make something longer, called DaVinci Resolve. This is just for people that really want to dive into filmmaking stuff. That's not in this list because it's a huge tool, and has barely any tutorials in comparison. So Suno AI, Sandy Baker, I shared this just recently because I've been using it. Suno AI is the first tool I'm going to show you guys. Suno AI is a tool that allows you to make music. So you can create any type of music you want with this tool. So I've been going through, let me make sure you guys don't see all my screen login information. 1 second. It's like log in. Okay.
Yeah,
I've been
I'd log in and go, I don't know how to do anything.
right. Well, that's what's so cool too about a lot of these tools is that they not only have a lot of YouTube documentation, like every time something new comes out, there's a hungering for these tools and to use them, because as jobs get eliminated, we're kind of only going to have a couple of things that we're good at. Creativity is one of those things. Creativity and community. So these tools, I think, become more popular as time goes on. But this is Suno AI. So I've been trying to make a song for my farmer short. I shared it earlier in the group on Facebook, but this basically allows you to describe any song. Say, do I want it instrumental? Do I want it to have lyrics? So I could go in here and type, throw something out, Dad. What's some songs that you like? I know you like that one Rascal Flatts song,
Yeah,
My Wish.
My Wish for You.
I don't know exactly how to spell Rascal Flatts, but my AI will help me.
Looks like you got it.
Yeah. I got Grammarly looking over all my stuff. So so it looks like it, of course, with certain AIs, it's like, hey, Rascal Flatts, I'm not going to make you a Rascal Flatts song. So I go for genres. So I would just ask what genres, but I could also just say My Wish and see what it does. This is like the most basic. Let me zoom in. This is the most basic primitive version of this that exists. This is not what I use. I use custom mode here. And why is exactly what you guys just saw. I like more control. I don't like it spitting back going, hey, listen, I don't want to do that. This allows me to enter my own lyrics. So now I'm writing the music. If I enter lyrics, I can click make random, or once I could click make random lyrics and it'll make up some random ones right now based off of the style of music, or I could use a random style. So you see it just wrote a bunch of lyrics in there. Or you could do what I did. You can go over to ChatGPT and go, here's the story I want to tell, and give it the screenplay or the script for the story that you wrote, or the book, a page or two, and say, write me a song that fits in this time frame, and have it write you a song. Then just copy the lyrics, go right back into Suno, paste them in there. Now I recommend doing like 2 at a time. Like that tends to work for me. So this breaks down each individual one. I could take each one of these, go back to Suno, put it in there. And then down here under style of music, as you guys can see, I've gone for like, it doesn't really give me like any issues with artists in custom mode for some reason. So I've done things like John Denver and stuff, because I was going for like a John Denver, Bob Dylan kind of like harmonica, bluegrass kind of feel, right? So if you put like folk music in there, guitar, like what instruments you want, I could even put in there flute, right? And it'll add a flute in there. So see these lyrics, if I liked what GPT did, but maybe it's not like, it doesn't sound exactly like a song. Like this is somewhat better at making it into a song. I could grab the lyrics that GPT gave me, hit generate lyrics. It will rewrite these and give prompts inside of there to change the tone. So now when this song goes, you'll see in here, you see that long ooh, or you see begun, or the oohs. These are normal things that happen in songs, like him whispering. That wouldn't be in there if I just put the lyrics in there, right? And then GPT will, if I ask it to turn them into choruses, verses, it will give me those. And then I can copy and paste those into Suno. But it does help to know, for this AI Suno to know, hey, this is a verse, this is a verse, this is a chorus. That helps with the process of getting what you want. So after I would do all that, you can name your song. Where I was going to call this one Seeds of Tomorrow, and hit create. And after this is done, I'm going to share it, Craig. And if you don't mind playing it.
Not a problem.
Let's see which one we get. But while that's generating, I can go talk about the next tool here in the list, Pseudowrite, because this is going to be a quick one. Pseudowrite is a writing assistant used to write novels or scripts. So this is Pseudowrite. This AI has the capabilities to help you along the whole entire process in writing any novel you want. It will write some of it for you. It will rewrite. It will edit it. It will say, hey, listen, this part doesn't make any sense. This is basically having an editor over your shoulder that's trained on every single novel that's ever been written, especially the good ones. So you can have it describe, brainstorm.
Any of you people ever dream about writing a book?
Yes, of course. I have too. And I think like in a lot of ways, sometimes this is the worst thing that a writer can face, what you guys are looking at right now. Right? A blank, untitled white page. It's like one of the worst fears of a writer is like you sit down and you see this and you go, where do I get started? Well, this tool has the ability, like the Story Bible, to click this on and look, now I can go down here and brain dump. So I can say, you know, I want to make something romantic. The plot's about this. And this is where you can just brain dump. What genre? Romance, horror, fantasy? What style? What type of writer do you normally read that you enjoy? It's like maybe I like what's that one writer that Julia Quinn that wrote the romance novels that are on Netflix now, whatever that show is. Anyway, the style, the synopsis, the characters, and then you can have a basic outline of what you want to have in each act. And then when you click generate outline, generate all these things, it's going to give you a baseline where it will guide you in writing your story, even if it's about your own life. So you could put the writing you have about your own life in here, what genre it is, say it's you know, even if you wanted it in certain tones, right? Like maybe you want it to have some funny parts. You don't want it to be a certain way, right? This isn't going to write a whole entire novel for you, but it will sit here and help you through that whole entire process, point, guide, and direct you in a way where I think you'll get started and you won't be able to stop doing it. And there's all these plugins that people have like for poems and stuff like that. So this tool does its payment stuff based off of the amount of words that you're using. And of course, like whatever you want to write, if you want to write the next Game of Thrones, you know, 1,000 pages, it's a lot of words. It's like probably 100,000. The average novel is between 40 and 60,000. So I would shoot from there or just write a novella, like keep your ideas smaller and build to them, right? It's better to finish a creative project than it is to work on one large project when you're starting out. Because if you don't finish something, it's going to feel daunting every single day showing up and working on the same thing over and over again. Although, in my own experience, it can change quite a bit as you're working on it. So I'm going to copy this song link here. I'm going to send that to Craig. I'm actually going to play this first. I don't know if it's any good. One moment.
And once again, as a reminder, people can go to roberthollis.com/AI to look at the tools that Matt is sharing with us. And the one that he was sharing with us is Suno AI, SUNO. I posted that in the chat.
Yep. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. So basically the way this process works with Suno, I've realized, and this is going to be like a mini tutorial for all you guys that are excited to like hop into this right afterwards and make music. You can explore here and see other music people have made, which is really cool. It's a good jump off base. And some of these you'll see already have like this Magic one that this person made has 24,000 plays and 300 likes. So this is music that other people are making. But a cool thing about Suno is I can click on here, remix this whole entire song, continue from it, and keep making a longer song based off of it. And it will keep the same. It'll keep the same voice. It'll keep the same rhythm. Like it's insane what it will do, right? Or I could click remix and say, hey, now I want this to be a heavy metal song. And now it's a heavy metal song, right? But if I go back to create, as Craig's pulling that up, or you guys could just click on the link and try to listen to it. I
I've
posted
already
it in
got
chat.
it ready.
Okay, go ahead, Craig. I don't know how good this is going to be, by the way, and I didn't say male or female voice, so I think it's going to be a woman's voice. There's our flute and our guitar.
At dawn's first light by the orchard's edge, and no farmer whispers a lifetime's pledge. In these seeds my hopes, entwined with strife, grows the tale of my days, the core of my life. Oh, seeds of tomorrow in earth you're cast. Some may face stone, others hold fast. But which tender shoot under sky so grand, sweet fruit shall bloom from my loving hand. Seeds of tomorrow reaching for the sun, with every passing day, the story is begun. Through hardship and toil, this love will withstand.
So that's the first bit that we used, right? And you guys just saw me go to ChatGPT,
Matthew.
give it my yes.
Matthew,
Yeah.
how many of you have ever been on a Zoom where you watch someone create a new song that no one's heard of and played it for you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so it's capable of making any genre. It can make instrumental music. So maybe if you're making a video, Kelly, about Barbie and you want some background music, you could put instrumental in there and get the background music that you need and then put it on your videos. Background music does a lot for pacing in videos. If you guys have seen, like, some of your favorite films are probably a mix. There's a mixture of music in there, and that's why they're your favorite, right? Like, if you see those moments, like even when we were watching Josh Groban sing, like Pure Imagination is a great song in the movie, but of course we're going to get a little bit more teary when we watch Josh Groban sing it, right? Because the way that he sings comes from such like a passionate, soulful place. So yeah, here I've worked with ChatGPT to write a song. If I went to, I've got, where is it here? Buddy and Granny Rescue, right? So this is, I just took exactly what Lisa Marie sent to me in a message, edited it a little bit and said, my friend wants to make an animated story about rescuing animals. Here's her idea. And said, can you how, I didn't even say help. Shows how smart the AI is. Can you help me flesh this out into a rescue story? It gave me the setting, the characters, including Buddy. Buddy's in there. It even at some point calls him buddies too. Granny's there. It made a new cat named Fergus that we're helping. Here's the plot, the introduction, the rising action, the climax. And if you don't know what these things mean storytelling wise, you can ask GPT and it'll describe what they mean. But these are storytelling beats that you can follow, right? And this will help you in like your journey of storytelling. And that's what Imaginators are about. I'm going to help you guys with that too. We'll help each other. So it gives me all these things and it says, here's the conclusion. And look, it will even give me the values that the children will learn or the people will learn by watching it. Right. I said, can you write each of these scenes out as image prompts so I can generate the scenes? Right. Here's the prompts that I then will take and give to Stable Diffusion that you guys saw, Megalodon that you guys saw earlier, to generate the images and the videos, right? Except you don't actually need to do that. You can just go to pika.art right now and make a free account. This tool is one of the fastest. It's in that list on AI, so you don't need to write it down. But this tool, now that we're going to get into, I'm going to get into it for maybe like 10 minutes because it's a huge, incredible tool that you can do on your phone. Everything you're seeing here can be done on the phone. It has a whole entire interface for the phone. It's not even an app, right? You just go to the website, log in, and you can use it. So that looked familiar. That's Buddy. There's more in here too, right? Like this is one of the ones that I sent earlier, and I did this with a image. So when I grabbed an image that I had, that I generated, and then I put it in there, right? This is new too, by the way. There's a couple of new things. Lip syncing is in here now. So you can actually click lip sync, pick a voice, write it, and generate the voice, or put your own voice in there, and it will lip sync the characters to the voice as if they're talking. And they have like, I mean, there's a lot of voices in here, right? Some of these you guys are going to, I mean, you'll have heard them a lot from TikTok or on things, some of those AI voices, but you could use your own, right? So I could take that picture of Buddy. I can ask if I want it to AI generate sound effects. So it's going to guess based off of the image what sound would be there and generate it. These are video options. Do I want it to be in 24 frames a second or less, like a slow-mo? 24 frames per second is the normal shots that films are in. So like that's the normal fluid movement for film and most television. Motion control, do I want the camera to pan left from Buddy or right? Do I want it to tilt up or down? Do I want it to rotate left or right? Do I want it to zoom in or out? So we're going to say zoom out. Strength of motion is like how much motion movement we want Buddy to go through. We're going to, the higher that this is, I'm going to admit tools are getting better all the time. The higher this is, the more sporadic and crazy it's going to be. So sometimes I keep that at 1, right? So we're going to zoom out. These are parameters. So here it will go with consistency of text. What does it mean by text? Describe your story. What is Buddy doing in this scene? So I'm just going to copy what I said before. A Clydesdale with large golden wings standing on a mountaintop. That's my prompt, right? So this is what I want this picture to do. And this picture I could have gotten straight from ChatGPT, right? Like I could have had it make a picture with Dolly and then brought it right over to Pika, right? You don't need stable diffusion, and I'll show you in a bit. You don't need Midjourney, but Midjourney is like really good. So we're going to click generate now and see what happens. So this will start generating. I was walking my dogs the other day, guys, and generating videos with my phone while walking, and then going back to ChatGPT, having it make the images and dropping the images in here and generating videos. I have a person that works 2 full-time jobs, you guys. So no excuse. 2 full-time jobs, one at Walgreens and one at Target. And in their lunch breaks, they sit down and use this tool and ChatGPT to make short films on their phone. And they're getting views by doing that. I'm not going to share it because I didn't ask for their permission. This is a private group, but maybe in the future I might see if, I don't know. I don't want to force people to come on here if they're not part of this group. So anyway, this takes a little bit to generate, but one of the things I'll show you guys is once it is generated, right? So now we have the generated video here of Buddy. Let me see one that's messed up. I think it might have been, I might have deleted it. I probably deleted it. All right. So when I first ran this image of Buddy through here, he had 5 legs, right? So of course I can just click retry, right? If I see Buddy here and he's got 5 legs, I could just click retry and it will just generate me another one. I could do this an infinite amount of times and it saves every single one. You can download every single one. If I click reprompt, then it will bring it down here and I can actually change certain things about it, right? Let me get out of this interface here.
So Matt, when
Yeah.
you're generating voices, like you said, you can use your own.
Mm-hmm.
And this
You
is where
record it with your phone.
yeah, this is where it gets kind of scary in the world, because you could go back to all the videos of your dad, right? And have AI listen to his voice.
I've
Or
already
like-
done that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we could go to Chris Robinson's page
Mhm.
and we could copy his voice to be the voice of Buddy the horse.
Yes, of course. And that's the interesting thing, because AI, when you guys do prompts, and ChatGPT is going to kind of stop you from doing this, which is why I'm going to show you a couple of other tools. But the way that I normally go about making characters with AI is to take 2 or 3 actors that I would want the character to look like and prompt ChatGPT to make pictures that are similar to those 3 actors. because instead of going, I want them to look like this, it's never going to get that consistently enough, but it will get those celebrities' faces consistently enough to have some form of consistency. But I'm going to show you guys some other stuff after that. So here's our video of Buddy. So believe it or not, this is actually amazing for a first time through. So what I'm going to do is this is in a, I have to mute this because he keeps going every single time I go over the video. I'm going to mute this tab for myself because I said, hey, I want a sound effect, right? And it saw a horse, so it went. I'll send this to you after this, but that zoom out really made it kind of like cinematic, didn't it? And it actually captured the wings. And these other earlier generations that I did, it cut the wings off. But for some reason, this time it worked, right? Great timing. So there's a couple of other things that I want to show you guys. So say Buddy's leg was messed up, right? But I really like the composition of the way this video works. Edit, modify region. So it takes that same thing, modify region, and you can do this on your phone, you guys, with your fingers. Put it over that leg, make that box, delete the prompt, and type, I don't want that leg there, remove leg. It will re-render it, and the same video will show up, and that leg will be gone. It'll be fixed. So if you have videos that are bad or something's not working, like I'm noticing right now in this video right here, watch his eye moves down just a little too much for my liking. So I could reprompt or edit and then modify that region, drag this box, make it small, go over Buddy's eye, and type blinking eye. You know, sometimes I'll stay short with it, and so it's going to regenerate now with that blinking eye. But you might also look at this and go like, that looks great, but like, I wish I could use it as a short. Like, I wish it wasn't in this format in a box, right? Like the picture I uploaded was in a boxed format. Then you click edit, right? It brings this back up again, expand canvas right down here. What aspect ratio do you want that in? Do you want it in 16:9, which is 1080p or normal like widescreen format? Do you want it in 9:16? And what the AI is going to do at this moment on is generate everything above and below Buddy here. So when I click this, it's going to take the prompt and you can rewrite here what you want. It might have actually helped me a little bit if I would have said, I want this there above and below, right? So it's going to generate now something similar to these videos, which is going to give me a top and bottom to them. So then I can upload them to, or I can use them in my editing for my YouTube shorts. So one thing that these tools are huge for is imagine you don't have any desire to make a short animated film, right? That's maybe out of your wheelhouse. But maybe like Kelly, you want to have those pictures when you're telling your story about Barbies of you as a little girl and you want them animated in your story. You can use this tool to do that. You can get the pictures and put them in here or prompt this. You can also just prompt this, little girl. Delete this picture. We'll have it zoom out again. You can do multiple of these. You can have it rotate and zoom out if you wanted to get really crazy with it, right? So this is me testing the eye. So the eye there still is like, I don't really like it. So all I would do is I just keep hitting retry until I get an eye that I like, right? And then I download, or then I would take it in editing and make it better. So this is Pika.art. As far as the plans go, the pricing of this goes, not the world's cheapest. I pay $70 a month because I use this tool every single day. And this, if you're making content consistently, having that lightning generations, having the ability to do it an infinite amount of times instead of a certain amount. If you guys have used tools like Vizard or other AI tools, normally it's by the amount of credits you have. And the reason it's that way is because it's doing API calls. It's talking to things like ChatGPT. And then ChatGPT is doing all the information and sending it back to them. So that's why these tools cost the money that they do. I think you could get by starting out at the $10 plan or the $35, but even if you wanted to just do, like, they allow you to do lip sync generations and they give you 250 credits. and stuff just for free. And this refreshes every 30 days. So every 30 days, if you have no money, and you know, the guy that I shared, right? He's only on the $35 plan a month. But all you need is ChatGPT and Pika, and you could make anything you want, I think. With CapCut, of course, to edit it together. But all of this stuff can be done on your phone. So when I said that he was making stuff on his phone, the process that we had come up with for him was a mixture of this tool, ChatGPT for script writing and photos, and then he would just take the photos and put them into Pika. But Pika actually has the ability as well, you guys, to make videos without images. So you don't even need ChatGPT. You could just put your prompt in here and keep retrying, tell it the art style. It's just not going to be, I mean, I can go down and show you guys some of them. Like this is what it did for a little girl playing with Barbie dolls. Little bit of nightmare fuel there. All right. So for me, I like more control. I would rather generate a picture that I really like.
Wait a minute. Is Barbie in the pink dress next to her bigger than her?
That is Barbie on the right-hand side, human size. Yeah. So like I said, a little bit of nightmare fuel for you guys there. But here's that final shot of Buddy on the mountaintop in 9:16. So then all I'm going to do is click upscale, and now it's going to generate it in the highest quality that it can. And then I'm going to send it to Lisa Marie, and she can use it wherever she wants, right? So the cool thing is if you guys, I'm going to give you a little secret, all right? If you guys were to like make a Gmail address, right, that a couple of you that wanted to work on projects together shared, and you just so happen to go all in together on the $70 plan, and you had the same login, I think you might just be able to do infinite generations with a couple of people. Now, you might get kicked out. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't tried it. Yes, John Tier, you can upload your own photos. So this photo of Buddy, I generated with Midjourney. So I'll show you guys that in a second. But like I said, if you just did this generation, so say you got this picture, right? Then you did a generation. Then you brought it into, you got your picture, and this could be any picture because you can animate anything. I've animated text in here, you guys. I've animated the intros that you've seen, like the Matthew Hollis intro to like the videos that you've seen. I actually just threw it in here and kept running it until there was an edit of it that I liked from the picture that I made. I didn't go sit in there and make an intro anymore. Why would I do that? So
what's your best one that you loved so far?
Out of the Pika stuff?
Yeah, the stuff
I mean, I there's certain shots that I have, like this duality of changing of seasons, that I really like because I'm going for more of like a specific art style. There's certain shots in here that I still have to clean up, right? But this, like this one where he's playing guitar under a tree with his dog and stuff like that. There's these certain shots that I definitely will have to clean up before they'll be final. But as you guys can see, I've been going nuts with these tools. You can see how many times I've changed the art styles and the prompts and the shots. Like here's him with his granddaughter eating an apple pie, except that apple pie was actually not an apple pie when I first generated it. I went through and there was a pile of apples here. I actually should find that image just to show you guys the level of stuff you can do here. Let me find it 1 second.
Matt, while you're looking for that.
Yeah, go ahead and ask questions, you guys.
I have found that you have to be hyper sensitive to what you type in. Like you have to be very detail oriented to get the image that you want.
Mm-hmm. Right. And those tools, that's why I'm going to show you a tool here in a second that I know not everyone here is going to jump into and use, but is way better at generating images than it's just as good at generating images as that Megalodon thing you saw at this point. And it does one thing that Megalodon does not do that came out this week that changed the whole, I had to redo all of the farmer because if I scroll down here, one of the issues is consistency. And I've said this before. So you can see this kid here. Not a bad art style. It's a pretty decent shot, right? But then when I generate a shot like this, not exactly the same art style, is it? So when if I edit these two shots together, maybe you guys aren't as insane as me, right? But when I put these two shots together in editing, there's a disconnect in my mind because they go, oh, this character doesn't look anything like this character. They're different art styles. It's funny. I generated this for Hannah. This is really, it's All Dogs Go to Heaven. If you guys ever seen that movie, I loved it as a kid, but, so anyway, yeah, I've been going through multiple different art styles, reprompting it. Like I said, I'd walk and I'd see this scene. So I'd get the image and I'd upload it, and I'd be walking my dogs, and I would pull up my phone and go, it doesn't exactly look right, or this area is messed up. I'm going to re-edit it, or I'm going to reprompt or retry. And I could do this at the dentist. You know what I mean? Like, I really could. And then I could come home and download all of these things and edit them on my computer, or download them on my phone and edit them. So this is the upscaled version. Pretty majestic. I'd say that that's actually, when you're saying what are some ones that you're proud of, this is actually one of the better shots, but this gets updated every day, you guys. So like the algorithm behind the scenes gets better and better at making animation all the time. So to take it from this to this took me 10, 15 minutes of sitting here talking to you guys, right? So it just goes to show, if you had a whole day, how much you could do, right? So I'll go back to the AI tools. So we've been through pseudo-write, right? Anyone that wants to write a novel. And by the way, there's a woman that was interviewed. I'll find the interview and post it at some point or share it. She's written 25 romance novels with pseudo-write and makes a full-time income now on Amazon, uploading and writing romance novels with this AI tool. Quit her job, makes more money just selling romance novels straight to Kindle on Amazon, right? So very cool. And like I said, ChatGPT is like the end-all be-all tool for creativity. It can help you refine any of your ideas. So as you've seen with these scenes here, an elderly woman in bib overalls, this scene was one that I already sent to people earlier, but so yeah, I'll move on. The next tool that I want to show you guys after Pika Labs is 11 Labs. Now, one other, actually, I'll go back and share one more thing about Pika before I go. If I click edit on any of these videos, let me find one that's better. And you see sound effects. This is new, right? If I click sound effects, when I hit edit, instead of checking the box when I'm first prompting, if I hit edit on any of the ones that are already done and click sound effects, I can write any sound effects I want. So a horse, what is that noise that they make? What's it called? Whinny. You spell it like this or with a Y?
I think it's WHINN, either Y or IE. I'm not sure.
It's funny. I should just let.
Actually, Lisa Marie says WINNY.
WINNY.
Deborah said nay, NEIGH. So that could be.
We're gonna try.
We'll find out, right?
Yeah, we're gonna try whatever one. It's saying they're all misspelled, so we'll just it'll figure it out. Like I said, AI is pretty smart. So now it's gonna generate me 3 separate sound effects that it's gonna put for me to choose to go on to this video before I save it and take it out of here. So if you guys take Suno and make your background music or your lyrics to your song, you want to make a music video, and then you go in here and get your individual shots and put the sound effects to them. Imagine how easy editing is now. You're basically putting the clips together and figuring out the pacing of the speed at which you want things to be said, right? And I'm going to show you guys another thing real quick. Film shots and length analysis. This is something I asked just before I got on here. I'll zoom in here. So what is the average shot length in films? Now, the average shot length used to be 8 to 11 seconds. In the 1980s, it went 4 to 7 seconds. In modern day films, it's around 2 to 4 seconds. AI with Pika generates 4-second videos, but you can continue to add 4 seconds. Now, if I keep clicking add 4 seconds and doing it, you guys are going to notice. I'll find a video in here that I've done it with. It gets disturbing. It does not know what really to do after those 4 seconds, even with prompts. And when I click add 4 seconds, right, I can also change the camera motion with those 4 seconds. So say I want this shot now to zoom out. So I'll zoom out, add 4 seconds to that farmer playing. Or I could do that with Buddy and it would just keep zooming out for 4 seconds, but maybe then it would start to get a little blurry and like a little warped, right? This is disturbing me, so I'm just going to delete this. But so now we'll go into the next tool, 11 Labs. 11 Labs is what Pika's using for those sound effects, and it's also what it's using for the voiceover work. So when I click, edit and do lip sync, all of these voices here are 11 Labs, and it's generating it from 11 Labs. If you click on any of these speakers here, you can hear what the voices sound like. But if you go over to 11 Labs, and I'm showing you guys all these tools because some of these tools are going to be useful for some creative ideas and other ones are going to be, not. So 11 Labs might be good for you people that don't want to write music but want voiceover work. So this has text to speech. I can pick any voice, or I could clone a voice. I've already cloned my dad's voice, so I'm just going to take that, right? And you can clone any voice in here under voices, add generative or cloned voice. They even have professional. Right. This is also the tool, if you guys have ever seen us dub a video into a different language where my dad's talking in Spanish instead, that was 11 Labs. So it has text to speech, so I can pick the language models and you can pick whatever languages it's based off of. Write your text, and then down here you can click generate and it'll generate a little thing that you can play, right? This is really, really good at like, if you wanted to make, like, say you want a short or you want a short film or a short story, like a fairy tale, right? Where someone's telling somebody the story, right? Like say it's a mother sitting down with her daughter and she's opening up the storybook and she's telling this story, but we're seeing the images of the story, right? That we've made in Pika Labs. I can come in here and get any voice I want and write down her telling the story and similar copy and paste, just like I showed from ChatGPT, and then generate the voice and then just download it and put it in there. One place that this tool becomes way better than any of the other ones is speech to speech. I can pick any voice in their collection or anyone else's voice that I've trained it on, record audio of my own voice, my voice inflections, the way that I want certain lines to be said. Maybe I want, instead of it being like a, what are you doing? I want it to be a, what are you doing? Right? And the AI is not going to know the difference between those two things, even with an exclamation at the end. So if I record my own voice going, what are you doing? Then upload it to here and pick my dad's voice. It will do my dad's voice, but it will do that inflection of, what are you doing? Exactly the exact same way I said it. So that is a very helpful, useful tool for video in general. Some of you guys, maybe you just don't want to use your voice at all. You can completely replace your voice with any voice you want with this tool and make any content you want. So if you wanted to have a whole entire video where you're Tom Cruise talking over the whole entire thing, train this on Tom Cruise's voice and then record yourself talking about your story and then upload it. And now you got an audio clip of Tom Cruise talking about your story. So those realms are going to get a little more dicey over the next couple of years because I know that copyright laws are going to get insane. I'm sure at some point these AIs won't be able to use anyone's voice, right? It'll know that it's Tom Cruise's voice. But this is also something that you can use to generate sound effects, just like in Pika. Like I said, Pika uses 11 Labs to do those things.
And just to let everybody know, that was one of the main reasons why the actors went on strike, was because of especially 11 Labs or AI models that are generating that. If I may, Matt, real quick, if those of you that watch the movie Rogue One, in the Star Wars universe, Peter Cushing was sort of reintroduced after his passing because he's not been alive for a while. And so the George Lucas or the producers went back to the estate of Peter Cushing and said, do we have permission to do this? And this is where the actors' strikes and everything like that created. This was the reason behind it. And
I'm pulling up the scene right now.
Here's
so
that's. Right, let me go ahead and close up my.
This is all CG. So there was a team, I've watched the video to recreate Peter Cushing. There was a team of like 30 something people to do the face animations just for this 2-minute shot of him talking. Because if you've seen the original Star Wars movies, he was one of the leaders, right? So this is
In
all
the very
CG.
first one.
Right, exactly. Do you want to see something really interesting, you guys?
Sure.
So 3 years ago, I saw this video, and I've seen this with a few. This is AI using his face and deep faking it on top of the CG to make it look more real. So now AI, I'll put these side by side here. Is that shot coming?
We see everything you're doing.
Okay, cool. So the one on the left is CG and the one on the right is AI. The difference in these shots, you guys, is that the original one took 30 people and it took them months. And this one was done in 45 seconds with AI. So it took pictures of Peter Cushing's face and overlaid it over that actor, just like they had done. So it's pretty nuts, right? So
Can you
can see
imagine that what they could have done for Paul Walker instead of having to get his brother to come in and do the
exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the thing is like the fear of everybody, right? Is if you guys know, visual effects is already like a really difficult industry to work in. The amount of time that you have to dedicate, plus the pay is like not really that great. They don't even have unions, so sometimes they have to work crunch, right? But to see this technology, this was deepfake technology that you guys maybe saw 3 years ago. This is a 3-year-old video. I could do this on my computer right now and take anyone's face and put it on here with Megalodon. Megalodon has a spot that does not only a face swap to any face that I want, but details it to make it look real. So yeah, there's that shot, but eventually you'll just be able to do this with anything. You'd need Megalodon to do that right now, but soon any tool will do that. So yeah, I showed you guys 11 labs. I showed you guys the rest of these tools here. Chat GPT should be obvious. Every single person here that's creative, if you have not downloaded the Chat GPT by OpenAI app on your phone, please do it. Please do it. Just play around with it. Ask it about anything, right? Anything you want. The world, yourself. Now I believe that they have voice even for the free model. I would recommend signing up for the $20 a month model. Why? One, it's going to the development of better AI, because OpenAI is a nonprofit company. This is how they make their money, to make better models, better AI to help us all out. And then two, the amount of things that you get for $20 is insane. Like you can generate pictures. You can't generate any pictures at all with the regular free GPT. You know, you can have full voice conversations with it, all different kinds of stuff. But make sure when you look the app up in your phone that you look for the one that's from OpenAI, because there's many apps that people have made that connect to OpenAI's API, and they're just selling you shit that you don't need, right? So just get the official app. It can be used for ideas, flesh out ideas, copy, creativity, thumbnails, backgrounds, basically everything, right? Like, I'm going to show you guys real quick how crazy it can get. One moment. So I had an idea for my group that I wanted, right? And one of them, actually, if I go in here, let's just do this. It's funny. I have so many chats, you guys, and I don't delete things. Hannah always gets on me for this. She'll be like, I have to close like 1,000 of your apps. I just don't for some reason. But I had ChatGPT go through and write me up a whole entire yearly plan. And I had it break down what I wanted to do by each month by having a conversation with it. Creatively, artistically, like business wise. I'll pull it up because I know I have it in my drive here. It's a little more personal, but I don't care. So just give me a second. I'm going to run into the same problem where I don't delete documents. Let me see here.
And careful if you have too many windows open too. Of course, you.
Oh, that's why I have
hide.
multiple screens. Yeah, you guys are only seeing one of them right now. So anything that's on the other screens, you can't see. Why is this so hard to find? Here, I'll find it. Here we go. I promptly named it to do 2024. So that's why I couldn't find it. I don't know why it's dark like that.
Just click on the screen. See if that'll.
I have a couple plugins for this, so maybe that's
okay.
why. There we go. It was in dark mode. My eyes can't take it sometimes. It's too bright. So I had a to-do of things that I wanted to do this year, right? And that started with AI tools. That's what I wanted to do this spring. I wanted to write these scripts. Some of them you'll know, some of them you won't. This sound familiar? That's what we're doing right now. I still want to create content myself, like on how I'm doing these things, storytelling content. I want to move, do all these things. So I'm showing you guys this. But the interesting thing is now I can go down to schedule because these are the things I wrote down in here that I wanted to do. And R&D, I call like what I do, like personal time, meditation, research and development, R&D, just because that's like what I like to call it. So I wrote all these things down and I recommend you guys do this. Then I took all of that stuff and put it into ChatGPT and told it to break down what I should be doing each day to accomplish these things. So you'll see in spring, March to May, these are the things on which days I'm working on them. Podcast preparations, all different things. So this thing actually wrote me a whole entire schedule, right? Year round, all different kinds of stuff. So it just goes to show, I wanted to show you guys that real quick. Because if you're in like a place where you're like, I don't know what I want to do, download ChatGPT and have a conversation with it and have it write you out a blueprint that you can follow day to day. Share your schedule, the time that you have and the time that you don't, and it will build you a schedule that you can follow to learn things or to do things, to be creative. So it'll be like, hey, listen, you've always wanted to learn how to play banjo. We can fit that in Saturday at 2. And the cool thing about that is it knows my schedule enough that I can constantly go back and have conversations with it and refine and change it if I needed to change things. Not everyone's going to be like me and like want a list of all that stuff. Some people, like my dad, might be like, fly by the seat of your pants, right? Or the seat of your shorts. But I thought I'd show it for some of you people in here that are like, I love all this stuff. I'm so inspired by what you're showing, Matt, but I just don't have any time. Or maybe you listen to what my dad said earlier in the calls and stuff where you're like, I haven't taken the time to write down my time and see how much open time I have. ChatGPT will tell you, right? Because it'll go, you only work where you're at work for this amount of time, right? So use ChatGPT for ideas, copy, creativity, thumbnails, backgrounds, photos, everything. It's the end all be all tool. And I recommend watching this video on how to master ChatGPT. You'll learn a lot of different things. Some of it's going to go over your head. You don't need all of it. But if you do know how to prompt it better, you will get a lot more out of ChatGPT. A whole nother area of ChatGPT is the GPTs themselves. I'll pull those up real quick. People are actually making GPTs. So look, book creator guide. If I click on this, you can see people's reviews, the ratings, everything. If I click start chat, you're going to see that it now opens the chat with book creator guide. And I bet you that this has enough knowledge to be similar to pseudo write to a certain extent. It's not going to have all the tools like as easily as it does. But if I say, how should I outline my book, which is one of the starter prompts, it's going to give me specific stuff. So GPTs are like things for specific tasks instead of just talking to ChatGPT. And a lot of these are free, right? So if I was like, I wanted something that had to do with writing, right? Here's all of the GPTs that are the most popular about writing, right? Write for me, right? Tailor engaging content with focus on quality, relevance, and precise word count. 1 million conversations this thing has had. It has the ability to make images, browse the internet, and browse data. So then I would just start a chat with that and have conversations with it, right? I don't know if you need to have GPT Pro to use GPTs, but with that said, definitely something that you can look into. And a lot of this stuff, I wrote in the notes down here and starting your YouTube channel. Get the ChatGPT app first. If you have any questions about any of the other apps or the tools that I've shown you, you can talk to ChatGPT about it if you have the Pro version, because the Pro version is attached to the internet and it's GPT-4. So I have conversations where I went, hey, in YouTube Studio app, where is this? And it went and scoured the whole entire internet, found exactly where it was, and then came back to me and said, you can find it here, here, and here. And that was exactly where it was. I've had computer issues where I've taken pictures of blue screens with a bunch of code on it and sent it to GPT, and it told me exactly what all that meant and how to fix it. And it worked faster than not calling customer support. So the cool thing about GPT-4 on your phone is it also has vision. You could legit take a picture of a bunch of stuff in your fridge and say, what can I make? And it would tell you what you can make with the ingredients you have. Or there's an example they use, right? Like maybe you have a bike that has an issue with the tires, right? You could take a picture of the tire and say, hey, I have this issue with my bike tire. How do I fix this? And send it in the GPT app to GPT, and it will teach you how to fix that bike tire or what to do or where to go to get it fixed. So,
and what tools to use.
And what tools to use. Yeah. What wrenches. You could take a picture of something that you have no idea about and say, what is this? And it will tell you what it is, right? Taking pictures of programs that I've seen on the internet that I'd like to use and go, what program is this? And it will find it and tell me what program it is. So now with ChatGPT 4, never really use Google anymore, unless if I really have to, because I like having a conversation about it. And I know GPT uses Google. So then why Google and walk through 5 articles, 3 of which were paid articles written by GPT. Yeah, someone else using an API for GPT, right? So yeah, I have all these steps to start your own YouTube channel with just your phone down here. The last thing that I'm going to show you guys, and this is not a tool that everybody's going to use because it requires another step. Eventually, it will have its own website, but it's such a powerful tool that I have to share it with you guys. So that tool is Midjourney. If you guys have not heard of Midjourney, Midjourney is a image generation tool, similar to Dolly or similar even to what I was doing in Pika, except it's way more powerful and way more consistent than any of those other tools. This is where I made Buddy, right? How did I make Buddy? I asked Lisa Marie for photos of Buddy. I took those photos, took them in to Midjourney, and made them. This is a new feature. One second. For some reason, Discord needed to update then and there. So let me go back here. Okay, there's Midjourney. Hopefully it doesn't keep crashing on me. I've got like so many programs open here. But so I took those reference pictures and then I wrote my prompt. A majestic, colorful Clydesdale horse with shimmering golden wings stands beside an elderly lady in bib overalls filled with determination. They are in a rustic barn surrounded by rescue gear, readying for an adventure. The atmosphere is one of anticipation and camaraderie. And it generated these 4 photos for me to pick through, right? Based off of, because I wrote in Midjourney that was my character reference, and you can do this for human beings or anybody. I said, this is how Buddy looks, right? So then it's going to take how Buddy looks and try its best, and I can keep, remixing this over and over and over again until I get the versions of Buddy that I want that look more like him. But I can remix this as many times as I want to and try to get exactly what Buddy looks like in a photo, right? The reason you would use Midjourney, well, the first step is you go to midjourney.com. I don't even have it in these tools for reasons I'm going to go over. Currently, you sign up for Midjourney, then you have to go all the way over to Discord, have a Discord account, then then create your own server. Once you've created your own server, then, and there's guides like this on YouTube, then you can then pay them monthly to prompt Midjourney to get these photos. What is cool about it is it does character references like nothing I've ever seen before. This came out this week. It took those shots, like I said, from the farmer. And now I can scroll up here and show you guys that basically every single shot, this is my character reference for the farmer. This is how he looks. Now I can go in Midjourney and keep referencing how he looks, his outfit. I can even change his outfit, and I can keep generating consistent shots that are pretty close as you can be to that character in different ways. A full body shot of the farmer looking at his apples, bugs everywhere on the apples, trees infested, the farmer is angry, right? And just keep going and going and going. But another cool thing about Midjourney is that these short prompts it's good with, but it's also really good with those long prompts. So that's how you get things like that picture of Buddy. Not only am I doing a reference, but I'm like, I want a barn to be in there. I want there to be rescue equipment. I want there to be, now it's not only getting Buddy, but it's getting a couple of other things, right? And of course, you could just with Midjourney as well. I'm not going to do a whole tutorial on Midjourney because it's like a big tool. But I thought if somebody's here that's like watching this in the future or now and goes, like Kelly, right? I want it to make really good artwork consistently, or I want it to always be me in the photos. You could train it, you know, maybe you want to train it on a specific person and try to get it to make specific things, right? It's not always going to be, that may be Craig there. These are not Craig. I'm still working on Craig. But then I was like, this morning,
everybody, including Craig, is working on Craig.
Well,
Yes.
this morning I knew that he was going to be dressed up in his Irish stuff. And so I wanted to make an animation, but I just didn't have enough time.
What about showing him that one that you did of me if you wanted to right
Yeah.
now? Maybe save that for later.
Yeah, I can. Absolutely. So I uploaded his photo. I used it as a character reference. Then I just started generating pictures, and now I'm generating them in stuff, right?
Oh my gosh.
Now I can go even further out. And of course you can take these photos and you can animate them and stuff like that, right? But just goes to show, Kelly, if you wanted your story, right, you could take a picture of you and put you in any of those scenes that you want, right? With Midjourney. Or I'm not going to do this for everybody, but for the people here like Lisa Marie that take this stuff seriously and want to do things with it, I'll post my personal Telegram. Feel free to message me and ask me questions about it, and I don't mind helping you guys out. But please, you guys, if you don't have if your desire to do this isn't in the place where you're like consistently making things like Lisa Marie is, don't reach out and ask me how to make things. That's not only what I covered here, but that's why I shared ChatGPT. ChatGPT is there to help you make things. I'm here to help you refine them in Imaginators, right? Make them better and share the wisdom that I know and make stuff better. So say Lisa Marie makes a bunch of shots or does things with Pika in the next week and then comes back and goes, you know, how do I do this? I can go, here's how you can do this, right? And that's how we can benefit you guys in your own creativity. But I'll share my Telegram in here for the people that are serious about these tools and want to do things. But that's really it, you guys. That's the whole spiel that I got. I hope you guys enjoyed. roberthollis.com/AI to find all of the links to all of those tools and a few others for different industries. Maybe you don't want to be in animation, or maybe you don't want to be in storytelling in those ways, and you just want to make your own YouTube videos and get shorts out of them. Great. Vizard's great for that. Maybe you don't know how to make a great YouTube channel or target the right audiences. Great. vidIQ is great for that. If you want to make music, great. Suno is great for that. If you want to make videos and images and stuff, great. Pika Labs is great for that. So those are all the tools that I would recommend. Some of them are, I think every tool that I've showed you today, other than their unlimited plans, is less than $30 a month to use. Like Pika, the cheapest plan is $9 a month, and you can use it on your phone. So it just goes to show, play around with it, fiddle around with them. It's funny because I gave Craig Vizard, right? And he's been doing all of our shorts with Vizard. And I had to upgrade it to the higher model because Craig's already ran out all the credits that we had making all the cool stuff he's been posting. So that's the thing, is you guys will see that these tools will spur your guys' creativity, just like GPT has for some of the people that have used it, on such a level that the model, the cost for using these tools is nothing in comparison to what you can make and do with them. Like,
I was just
make
going to ask you, Matt, about how much a month are you spending on all these programs, if you don't mind me asking?
Pika's 70, Midjourney's 30, and ChatGPT is 20. I would say that those 3 tools are all that you really need outside of some form of editing software, but you can find things like CapCut or DaVinci to edit things for free. So those are the 2 things that you would need to edit a video. But there's a lot of free editing video software out there too, if you don't even want to spend on those. Like Apple has iMovie and Windows has, I don't even think Windows Movie Maker exists anymore. But
no, it's gone.
Yeah, DaVinci Resolve is free, so I would just get that. But as far as this stuff goes, like, the sky's the limit. Your ideas and imagination is like the limit of what this technology is capable of, and that's kind of a crazy spot to be in, because as I've been working with like other people that are more detailed in these tools, right, we're finding this really interesting, weird place where I have a lot of people that are very technically good at things, but not very imaginary and creative in these ways. It's just not their skill set, right? Like, they don't think about storytelling. They're not thinking about like composition of pictures or anything like that. They're thinking about code or how to get these certain things to work. And so I think as these tools become more refined, more people will be able to use them, like with Pika. And we're going to see a lot more creative people use them instead of just technical people use them. I think I'm lucky in the spot that I'm in, where I'm like, I got my toes in both those areas where I can like create things, but also do the programming stuff. So that's why I'm here to serve you guys, right? And share this stuff with you guys. So with that said, I can throw it back over to you, Craig, but I don't mind doing a quick Q&A if you guys want to too. Imaginators is built to help you guys out. So,
well,
Robert?
one of the things I think that we could do, first of all, Matt, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I mean, everybody give him a hand. And I want you guys to understand too, is maybe we can do a Q&A. I know we're getting, a little late here.
The hands came up pretty fast.
Yeah, it's
you don't have to stay, Dad. You don't have to stay. If you have to go, I don't mind doing the Q&A, and Craig, same with you. I don't mind finishing it out myself. So
yeah, well, I guess we could do that a Q&A after I get done doing my
Sure.
Imaginator stuff.
Yeah, no, let's do that. How about that? My dad and everybody, thank you for your kindness and let me show you all these things. The Imaginators isn't just about using these tools, but why you need to use them and what you want to be using them for. And that's why my dad's here. There's no person that has helped me more, and I've seen help people more connect with their imaginations and figure out what they want to be making to use these things that I even just showed you guys, whether it's music, film, television, any of those things. There's nobody that I've seen help people refine and figure that out more than my dad. So with that said, Dad, do you want to go ahead and take them to the next step?
Well, Matthew, the first thing I wanted to discuss too is, our relationship. I know that me and Matt are constantly reaching out. Hey, I love you. I appreciate you. What can I do for you today? And Matt, what has always been sort of my response to you when you ask, what could you do for me today?
Well, it's always like imagine and think of the future and be excited for what we're making and stuff like that. And I think for like a while, I would say it's not that I wasn't excited about it. It just didn't fulfill the child part of myself that I had neglected over the last couple of decades. Like when I went to therapy, there's this therapy technique called IFS, internal family systems. And it's helped me greatly with my therapist because it It's kind of like a meditative, guided meditative thing where you close your eyes and you have conversations with the parts of yourself that you normally neglect. And one of those parts that I've neglected for a while is that creative kid part of myself that was doing those stop motion with Legos, that was doing animation. Like I've neglected that part. And so by going to therapy, I got to have a conversation with that part of myself, and he's fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Because I've spent so much time not fulfilling those parts of myself. And I think that my dad has that capability to do that with everybody here, just like my therapist did with me. I didn't know that at the time, and maybe it's like expert from afar. Maybe I needed it to be someone that wasn't my dad, but he's not your guys' dad, so he's here to help you. With that said, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick. Dad, you go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
All right. So what I wanted to share with you guys really, really quickly is if some of you, while you're watching Matt do that, and you just, all you can go is, oh my God, I'm just overwhelmed. This is too much. I don't get it. Understand that this is Matt's way to show his creativity, imagination. All right. I think I've done pretty good with my life not using these tools. But I need you guys to really, really understand what it is. First, I wanted to show you a quick screenshot, because this is what people don't talk about, is every time a new idea comes out, which is a new imagination, do you guys find it interesting that it gets 100 paid users or 100 users fast, 100 million users faster and faster and faster and faster? Do any of you ever feel like it seems like time is picking up speed, and you sometimes feel like you're not part of it, right? It's like, don't allow, the voices outside of imagination to sort of kick your ass. Like Deborah was saying, Grady, I'm just too old, and I'm sick, and I don't feel good, and I'm great at telling a story about how much life sucks. I see Deborah totally no longer do that. You see what I mean? Because now she understood that that was stifling and stopping her imagination. And so I share this stuff with, my partner in life, Terry. We've been together for 40 years, and I use her as a sounding board. And since I got on this concept of you can do all things once you plug into your imagination, now my wife and I are interacting more than we ever have, because usually I was just sharing with her concepts of how I could teach people. Now I'm not interested in teaching people. I'm interested in getting them to dream and start to imagine again. Because if I do that, then I believe the universe will bring them the things and the people that they need. We have Corky on here. Corky has found 2 volunteers that help him do the stuff that he does. Did you guys hear that? And so in your imagination, you want to imagine that the people that you need to fulfill your imagination will come to you. So for Terry asking me to help her with her little business, I went, I'm going to drive Terry to Super Affiliate. To do that, I needed to do 1 million in volume. And 30,000 people came out of the woodworks. All right. A lot of the leaders, before I jumped on here, I did a training for my Hungarian and Romanian group. And I said to them, all I had was an imagination to drive my wife to Super Affiliate. And then Tomas found me on Business from Home and reached out to me. We built a relationship. I shared my imagination with him. And now him and Laszlo, his best friend, are both married, each have 2 kids, and they're living in a brand new home with them having a new car and their wife having a new car. Because a lot of people's imagination might not be where I am to make $1 million a year. But how many of you would like to imaginate so you never have to go to a job again? So I'm going to share with you guys one more short video, and this came from my wife. So as I shared her, what I was going to share with you guys, I want you, and I don't know if there's going to be any bad language in this clip. I haven't watched it. But see if you guys, any of you watched, what is it called?
Step
again?
Brothers.
Any of you watch Step Brothers? Okay. Watch this scene and tell me what you think about it. Sharing with my wife, Terry, of 40 years, about imagination. And she goes, "Oh, don't lose the dinosaur." And I went to her, "What are you talking about?" And if you guys watch Step Brothers or haven't, it's about these two guys that become stepbrothers because the guy that you just seen fell in love with the other guy's wife, mom. And so they put the two together and they're just giant kids. The stupid stuff that they do. And the father and mother finally get mad at them and said, "You got to put that childless stuff away. Put it away, get a job." They kicked him out of the house. And it was the fighting between the husband and wife because they felt like they had to push their children, their sons, out of the house so that they could be normal like other people. Don't you think that's interesting? And so you see the guy that's the father figure say to his son and his stepson, "I was wrong. I was wrong. I wish I could go back to be a dinosaur." And of course, comedies, make funny stuff out of stuff that's like way out there. But I wanted to share that because Terry shared that with me. Because right away I remember that, they went up there, and of course, if you know the show, he went up there, started playing drums. All the people started making fun of him, saying, "Get off the stage." And then he got up there, Will Ferrell, and started singing opera. And then in a blink of an eye, you seen everybody in the audience starting to cry. And that's the magic. That's the magic when they step back in, and the end of it, if you guys haven't seen it, they took Prestige Global and they turned it into a giant karaoke business, and they're doing karaoke all over the place. And so I just wanted to share that with you. And I know that some of you have questions, please don't get mad at me. I didn't want this to go this long. My voice after doing 2 of these is gone. And I promise we can get to some of your questions next week. I promise. So
yeah, I was gonna say thank you for sharing that stuff, Dad. I love and appreciate you. But I know I kind of just spurted on them and said, "Hey, I'll answer questions." But we really want to keep these to under 3 hours because most people are not going to sit there and watch a 5-hour video. So if you guys don't mind, I've created a brand new Telegram group for us Imaginators. It's just go to roberthollis.com/Telegram and you can join the group. So everybody here, please try your best to get into that group. In there, you can ask questions of me or whatever. It's a group to ask me questions, not my dad or not Craig, specifically just for the stuff that we were talking about. So if any of you guys had your hands up and you have questions, you can post them in there and I can respond when I've got time. So
thank you, Matt.
But yeah, I don't want to take anyone else's Sunday away from them by doing Q&A. So we'll do that next week. Give you guys time to think of your questions.
Yeah, promise. And the last thing I want to say before Craig closes it out is I don't ever think that anything's by accident. Against Albert Einstein said that, again, imagination is more important than knowledge. And inside that imagination, you can believe that everything's a miracle, or you can believe that nothing's a miracle. And so for us doing it on this day, where some people don't quite understand St. Patrick's Day, they're looking for the four-leaf clover. And that four-leaf clover is supposed to do what? Make you lucky. It's like, why is it that whatever powers to be still can't still the magic? They still can't. And I thought of one other thing I'll share with you is, Craig has got to be one of the most imaginative people I know. And every time I was around him, he would come dressed like this, on St. Patrick's Day. And the way he dresses up for Halloween and the way that he dresses up for a lot of things is, you got, people that have incredible imagination, they seem to always be living in their own world, but they're very, very happy. They're very content. They're full of joy because they're constantly going to step out. And in that this morning, Sunday, it talked about this really young kid. And he didn't know, he still doesn't know why. Wait, he does know why. So he asked his mom and dad if he could get a suit and a tie. And he's got to be, if he's seven, right? And his mom and dad said, sure. And he says, I'm going to go to school with a suit and a tie. And they go, why? And he said, because I'm tired of being like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else. I just want to be me. And he shows up at the school. The next thing they know, the teacher puts a suit on. They talk to a few kids, and the kids were going, yeah, we don't know what's wrong with them. So then the school made something Wednesday. It was like Dress Up Wednesday. And it's not in the school at all. It's not a part of their dress code. And slow but sure, all the kids on Wednesday started wearing their very, very, very best. And so they asked these little kids, why do you do that? And they went, dressing up makes me feel better. And I just went, so again, going all the way back to the kids, the children, what if I've done anything as a father for Matthew and my other two sons is consistently giving everything that I can give them to keep their imagination alive. And I know some of you might feel like you haven't been able to do that, but you still have time to do it. Don't tell people what to do. Don't expect them what to do. Lead by imagination. Lead by imagination, not lead by example. So, I hope that some of you, when you watch that, father say, my dad told me to put down that stuff and don't do that anymore. How many of you guys didn't get an owner's manual? And so you realize that your parents did that because your great grandpa and grandmas on both sides did that. I remember yesterday, like it was yesterday, asking my grandma why she had 9 kids. And she said it was required to take care of the farm. Wow. We need to have more kids because we want more workers. It wasn't the time, right? The time when women didn't really maybe have a voice like they needed to. And I know this is going to be a joke, but this is what I want to close with. It's like, how many have seen, now, Suburbans or minivans, and it shows the husband and a wife, and then it shows a bunch of kids, right? And I seen people that don't have imagination right on the window. Can you find some time to stay off of her? Because that's all they understand, right? You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I hope that this session really got you guys to start realizing how much you can imagine. And for those of you that see yourself creating unbelievable content that you can post on YouTube, where millions and millions and millions and millions of people are going to watch it and share it. And then there's another group here that don't do what other people are doing. You need to imaginate enough to do what you want to do. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm doing these videos. I know that we can bring out the imagination in everyone, even if people say, I don't have imagination. I just think that you forgot that you had it. So I love and appreciate every one of you. Again, Matt, thank you so much. And we're going to turn it all over to the leprechaun, Mr. Craig Jackman.
Master of ceremonies. Thank you, Dad. Love you.
You bet.
Wow, gentlemen, Matt, Robert, thank you so very much. Yeah, I agree, Lisa Marie. You guys are amazing. Thank you so very much. This is the Imaginators. These are the Imaginators. You are an Imaginator. And that's why we are doing this. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, now to go over a few things here as we wrap up. First of all, to save the chat, there's a lot of information in both chats, particularly the Zoom chat. Click on the 3 dots, okay? That's the one that's associated with the meeting chat. It's been moving around a lot lately because Zoom is updating things. So look for the 3 dots in the meeting chat. Then click on Save Chat, and all that information that we just shared will download to your computer. That information that I was able to pull, and there was a lot. My hands were typing a lot today. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Robert. It will also be in the description below this video when you watch the replay on YouTube. It will also appear in the YouTube chat as it scrolls up. So hopefully you've got 3 ways right there to get all of that great information. And of course, Matt also just shared the link to the Telegram group for Imaginators. We are here. We are Imaginators. Let's become part of it. And you've got direct access to Matt and all of his knowledge. Let's pick brains. We're here to do that. We're here to help you go to the next level. So, that being said, so many people to thank on this broadcast. Deborah Grady, Deborah Bronner. I know we missed you, Deborah. We're going to catch up with you, so please hang in there. I know you had your hand raised, but this was the plan for today. So thank you for your patience. We'll get you next time. Katie Sanders, Lisa Marie, everybody who's here. I'm going to let Robert name everybody who is a part of our amazing group today as we close this out. And God bless you, Matt Hollis. Thank you for being our executive producer, the foundation to everything about this amazing Hollis organization that we are a part of. Love you, brother, and thank you so, so very much. As I open up the chat so we can all say so long, everybody, please, happy St. Patrick's Day. Please be good to yourself. Be cash. And have a great St. Patty's Day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Now. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your weekend. Say bye, Rue.
Thanks, Matt.
So much.
Thank you, Imaginators.
Robert. Nice job, Matt. You're awesome.
Man, wow.
Love you all. Thank you.
Hey, Lisa
Milo.
Marie.
Milo. Is that
No, this is Rue.
So
Rue
much,
is
Matt.
big now.
Thank you so much, Robert and Matthew.
Love you guys.
Yeah, Brad.
you,
Thank you,
guys.
All right,
Bob.
Love you, Kelly. Bye.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate
This was
everything too.
awesome.
Bye.
Thank you,
This
Raymond.
was worth every minute. It was so awesome. Thank you.
Thank